Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Friday, April 26th. Big sports story today. Vladimir Guerrero's son, Jr., getting called up. He's going to play with the Toronto Blue Jays. And it looks like what we have here is a little Jackie Robinson riddle. Notice the game starting at 4:07 p.m. Well, that's Pacific Coast time. But Jackie Robinson called up in the year 47. And from Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s birthday, March 16th, until today's his 42nd day of his age, plus it's a date with 42 numerology. And of course, the name Jackie equals 42. He wore the number 42. The name Jack Robinson equals 59, like Toronto Blue Jays 59. If you're new here, the 18th chapter of my book is about rituals with black men and the numbers 42 and 59. Negro, slave, blues, they all equal 59. Slavery equals 42. Baseball does these kind of rituals every single year with their black players. So looks like there's a sick joke behind it. I notice his name has some special gematria too, including that 106. This year's the prophecy of Acts 7:6, prophecy 106. So we'll see what kind of player he is. His dad was amazing. His dad was the best complete baseball player I ever saw with my own eyes. Amazing arm, great hitter. And other big thing in sports, I put out a video on this yesterday. If you missed the video, Boston Celtics have won 17 championships. NBA equals 17. This man wore this number 17 and he died 17 days after his 79th birthday. Of course, 79 is the 22nd prime. Boston equals 22. Basketball 22. His nickname Hondo equals 79. In addition to dying 17 days after his birthday, notice his birthday is April 8th, 4-8. Boston Celtics 48. They just kept the Pacers at 48 wins, sweeping them. In addition to dying 17 days after his birthday, you could also say he died on his 18th day of his age. And remember, this is the 2018-19 season. If the Celtics were to win the championship this year, they would get their 18th win. So I'm still thinking Warriors and Celtics because of the start date of the finals. Before the season began, we picked Warriors-Celtics finals. The main clue, well, there were two main clues. Before the games were even played, we said, look, the NBA finals start May 30th. That's a date with 54 and 74 numerology. Oracle equals 54. The Celtics snapped the home winning streak, the record home winning streak at 54 games in Oracle. So that was a Celtics-Warriors riddle. And then Oakland, California equals 74. So it seemed like a fitting place to have the finals start. And against the Celtics, who have a connection to that number and that team. Something I've been humming and hawing over ever since the Clippers won Game 5, which was a surprise to me. I did think the Warriors would close it out in Game 5, especially it being 41 days after Steph Curry's birthday. I am thinking that series is going to go to Game 7 because, again, the Bay Area is connected to 118. So is Los Angeles. Clippers equals 118. Game 7 is on the 118th day of the year. I do have to say, just something to put in your head to think about. If the Clippers end up beating the Warriors, which will definitely surprise me, I wouldn't put a Boston-LA NBA Finals out of the question in light of what they're doing this year in sports. You know, you had the Boston-LA World Series. You had the Boston-LA Super Bowl. And the thing about Doc Rivers, the coach of the Clippers, is he used to coach Boston. So, I mean, if that happens, we'll think about that. But Boston and Warriors still makes the most sense to me. We had the Warriors finishing the season, or not the Warriors, but Boston finishing the season on 49 wins in Kevin Durant's hometown. Washington equals 49, Kevin Durant 49, Warriors 49. We had the Warriors pegged to finish on 57 wins because NBA Finals equals 57. And that way, winning 16 games in the playoffs puts them at 73 games. This is the 73rd NBA season. So just food for thought in case the Warriors go down. I would be really surprised, but the Boston-LA riddles are out there. And speaking of riddles, look at where John Havlicek's from. He's from Ohio, just like how in the NHL right now we have the Boston versus Ohio hockey series. And we saw the story about the La Nina Christopher Columbus replica ship sinking in Corpus Christi, Texas. And we saw how Corpus Christi was 113, and that story was on the 113th day of the year. So anyhow, we'll get back to that. But this is definitely a ritual for the NBA playoffs and possibly also what's going on in the NHL and possibly just all the Boston narratives. We did point out that before the NHL playoffs began, the Toronto Maple Leafs seemingly had the most interesting narrative if they won the Stanley Cup. And in second place was the Boston Bruins. Again, if the Bruins win the Stanley Cup, they'll have 322 playoff wins, 322. So it can't be Boston, LA in the NHL. It could be Boston, California, but how far is it from San Jose to LA anyway? How close are those cities? California has too many cities. That's pretty deep. It's closer to the Bay Area. But Boston Warriors would also be California. California, Boston too. So I remember about a year ago, Stephen A. Smith and the guy, what's his name? The Jewish guy who does the boxing. It was probably a year ago now. They were debating what was the more relevant sports city, Boston or LA. That was before any of these championships even came. So. All right, let's review yesterday's games. So NBA, we had a pretty strong read yesterday, and it came through. Spurs even covered, which means Vegas paid out. But we did like the Spurs yesterday. We saw this game. After Game 4, we saw how Game 5 and Game 4 were seemingly mapped out. And we're going to have to do some homework on Game 7 when it comes around. Still a few more things I got to think about. Game 7 is going to be a tighter read. But again, whoever wins this team or whoever wins Game 7 will play Portland. And the riddle's probably in Portland's record, so we'll look more at that when it gets here. But Portland did win their series 4-1. And on one hand, that could just be a tribute to Damian Lillard because Oakland equals 41 where he's from. But between these two teams, only one has the 41 connection, and it's San Antonio. San Antonio's 41. So remember the 41-day Oregon standoff, which I predicted the first day of, right after the Alamo Bowl concluded? Maybe you forget that story. It's right after Oregon lost in the Alamo Bowl to Texas Christian with the record comeback. They lost with 41 points, and then you had the 41-day standoff. Standoff equals 41. So I don't know if that could possibly be connected, but we'll think more about that when it comes around. In the NHL, we had it read pretty good yesterday. We thought both home teams would the Boston game was closer, but we said take the away teams to cover because it looks like they're both going to be very tight games. And both away teams did cover. How do I get to the NHL? There we go. Remember St. Louis, they had the better riddle. They were the more sure team to win at home yesterday, but all the money was on them, so that's why Dallas to cover was the move. One of the trolls was saying, your picks don't make any sense. You have Blues to win, but Stars to cover? How does that make sense? Like these poor dumb trolls. That means the Blues win, but they only win by a goal, dumb troll, which is exactly what happened. And the reason that was the call was because we saw over 90% of the money was on the Blues to cover. So it was the 115th day of the year. St. Louis equals 115. It was the 74th playoff match, I believe, between these teams. St. Louis 74. That kept the Stars at 47 wins. The Stars might stay at 47 wins in St. Louis. We'll look again at Game 2, but St. Louis is also 47. So just a lot of numbers stacked St. Louis. But looking at the way the money was, Vegas usually likes to collect, and they did last night because Stars covered. And then Bruins and Blue Jackets. We were asking, is the riddle with the Blue Jackets record or is it with the Bruins record? And we saw that story about the Christopher Columbus replica ship, the La Nina, sinking. La Nina equals 51, like Boston Bruins, like how the Blue Jackets are at 51 wins. Well, now based on the numerology, the records we were looking at yesterday has to be the riddle with the Bruins coach. So very possible the Bruins win the first 2 games of this series. We'll look more at that when the game comes around, but I'm thinking it's looking more and more that way. So that was that. And in the MLB, again, we weren't betting on MLB games yesterday, but we were looking at riddles. It was the 115th day of the year. It's the 115th World Series upcoming, and we wanted to see if any scores would give us a clue at the potential World Series. So, Diamondbacks and Pirates, we didn't have much of a read on that. Dodgers and Cubs, there wasn't a lot to go off either. Same with Braves and Reds. The Phillies, I was hoping the Phillies were going to win yesterday, because then I would have had some confidence that they are going to be the team in the National League. Philadelphia has the 115 connection. They were playing on the 115th day of the year. There's always a riddle with 94 in the World Series, but they didn't get it. And the Marlins would have been a fitting team to get that 9-4 against, because Marlins is 49. So I did want to see the Phillies win yesterday to give us some foresight, and it didn't happen. So we've been looking at these riddles throughout the year that could point to World Series, and they just keep coming up short. And I swear to God, it feels like they're messing with us, because in years past, these are the things that we look for, and they usually do hit. We say, there's what it's going to be. So, I mean, it doesn't mean the Phillies won't be in the World Series, but had they hit 9-4 yesterday, that would have been a real strong clue. So, got to keep paying attention. The Red Sox, we talked about how they could become 5-5 at home. Boston, Massachusetts equals 55, just like how the Patriots became 5-5 in Super Bowls in Minneapolis. Minneapolis equals 55. Remember, it was number 55 that put that game away with the sack fumble. Indians had a chance to fall to 6-7. Cleveland Indians equals 67. But again, we have to read numbers in reverse too, right? So I guess being 7-6 isn't all that different. The Astros, if I'm not mistaken, have Gematria of 92, so that could be something to watch today. The Astros could get to 9-2. Well, I'll make sure that that's true. If the Astros are playing at home, whenever the Astros do play at home next, they'll have a chance to get to 9-2. So that's something to think about. The Yankees could have got the sweep yesterday against the Angels, and this is what I mean with baseball this year. It's just a ball breaker. The patterns aren't consistent. But look at the score of that game on the 115th day of the year, 11-5. So that's interesting. I think between these two teams, if one of them was going to represent the AL and the World Series, it would probably be more likely to be the Yankees. A team can lose in a World Series game tribute. You know, the Yankees narrative. So we could see what the Yankees narrative would be, right? Their whole team's injured and they're not playing that bad. So they could get healthy, by the end of the season. They could be the Yankees juggernaut. So it is something to think about. This is a special year for the Mariners. The last time the Mariners had a really great season, the Yankees knocked them off in the playoffs. These are things to keep in mind. But Yankees could have got the sweep yesterday on the 23-date numerology. Sweep equals 23. The last time there was a sweep date numerology, 6 of 7 teams swept their series. I think the Yankees were the only team going for a sweep yesterday, but they didn't get it. But they did get an interesting score. And the one game that, if there was a baseball game I would have bet on yesterday, it's probably this Mariners game. Like I said, I called the Mariners to have a very special season a year in advance. I said this would be their year, 2019. Seattle's the only city that sums to 19. Mariners equals 43. This is their 43rd season. So you can see that everything was pegged from the date that the team was established, planned with this season. And that's what we've been talking about for over a year. This year, they changed the name of their park to T-Mobile Park, which actually makes sense because T-Mobile is huge now in Seattle. They got a giant headquarters there. But T-Mobile Park equals 67, and they became 6-7 at home. 67 is the 19th prime number. So, I mean, this record made a lot of sense right here. Getting to 6-7 at home. And they won with 14 runs. Again, Mariners 43, the 14th prime. So the other thing to think about is the Mariners were 5-7 at home coming into this game on the 115th day of the year. World Series is 57. So I still like the Mariners to represent in the AL. I don't know that they'll win the World Series, but I still like them. Absolutely. You know, if there's ever going to be a year for the Mariners, this is it. And again, that made the Rangers 2-8 as well. Seattle has Gematria 28 also. Caller?
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you please ban this Rudy guy from your page? He spams every single comment section.
Oh, well, if I ban these people, they just sign up on a new account tomorrow or the same day. And they just come under a new name. I've already done that earlier this year. They just come back with a new name. Rudy's been like 5 different people this year.
Oh my God, like literally every single comment section, it's like 10 comments in a row. He doesn't post 20, he posts 10.
There's no way to get rid of them. I wrote to Patreon about this too. I said they need to do something about banning or muting comments. But
right, there's no like report option for us either.
It's a joke, man, and there's nothing I can do about it because if I delete him, he'll just be back under a new name tomorrow or even the same day.
Yeah, I get it, man.
Yeah, so I already tried, man. I know it's frustrating. That's why I've told people. I mean, just it sucks. They ruin the comment section. If you're for people listening, if you want to leave a comment, once the video is over, once the live stream's over, you can go back and watch the video, and then the comments show up below the video, and you can leave comments there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the trolls don't seem to go there. They just like to stay on the front page where their comments are most visible. So if you're trying to have a communication about a video, I suggest you click on the video and then go to the comments below it and leave your comment there. So.
No, for sure. There's some good info though on your Patreon comments, but you know, like we can't get to them because that guy keeps spamming. It's Rudy and Rob already.
And they've both been under different names, and
yeah.
So there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Sorry. Yeah, man, it's just sad. But for people who are new here, I've had trolls on all my platforms 24/7, 365. It's because we're tampering with billion-dollar industries. These guys are probably paid by the leagues themselves. So, what's up, man?
Hey, brother.
Hey,
I got a couple things on Havlicek.
Okay.
I wanted to add to that. So I heard the first part. I missed the very first part. Did you notice that he was in 3 championships in college?
I did not know that.
His last one was in 1960. From 1960 to 2019 is 59 years.
Crazy.
59 is a 17 prime number.
Right.
The other thing I thought was interesting, the Mariners scored 14 runs yesterday, but they also had 14 hits.
I see that.
43 is the 14th prime. We just saw Tiger Woods win the Masters at age 43, right?
Right.
And go look at John's name. John Joseph Havlicek equals 191 in English ordinal, the 43rd prime. Also, John Havlicek equals 62 when you flip the fucking alphabet around. Seattle Mariners equals 62.
Huh.
Interesting.
Huh, that is interesting.
I couldn't really find anything with him in a connection with Seattle, but I just thought it was interesting that they had 14 hits and, 14 runs yesterday.
Well, the Mariners smoked Boston at the beginning of the year for their first home opener. The Red Sox?
What was that?
The Mariners beat up Boston real good in their home opener.
What was the score of that game?
I'd have to go back and look. That was the beginning of the season. Their first home opener was against Boston. I'll go back and look.
Well, that's when they knocked Sale out, right? Yeah, they beat up on Sale, Boston's ace.
Yeah, I'm not sure what day that series started. I got to go back and see.
Yeah, you're right about that. Maybe that's what they're foreshadowing.
Where was it? It was the. I'll go back and find it here. I do want to see what that was. April. Wait, I must have missed it. It must have been earlier in the season. Was it March?
Well, it would have been the first series after they came back from Japan.
It wasn't
Japan, and then the very first game at home, they busted up Sale for Boston. And they swept that series, right?
I think they lost one. I think they lost one to Boston.
Yeah, you're right. They lost one. That's right.
So they won 12-4 the first game. Their home opener, they won 12-4. That game was March 28th. And then they lost game 2, 6-7. You get that 67 19th prime T-Mobile Park, 67. And then they won 6-5. Another close one. They went up 4-1 there. And then they got up to 5-1. Ichiro, number 51. Then they beat them 10-8, that Major League tribute. Red Sox with 108 wins last year. Was that the last game of the series? Yeah, that was the last game of the series. So, well,
it's interesting, man. It's interesting. And his name, too, John Havlicek, another 118, man. His name equals 118, too.
Just like Celtics is 118. Celtics is 118.
Yeah, Celtics is 118, right.
Yeah.
But you just see how these people's entire careers, again and again, you prove this to where it's a complete fucking script, man. Everything's centered around this 17 number.
Yeah, big number. And maybe you didn't hear me say it, but if you count this, he died 17 days after his birthday, but he also died on his 18th day of his age. So that's going to be one thing to think about when the finals come around. So
it is true. And today I noticed, which kind of interesting, kind of makes me a little gun shy, but I saw where Boston's like a little better than 7-1 to win the East now. And that's pretty damn good odds.
Yeah.
They've been, I've seen them in a matchup with Warriors, you were getting 5, 6, 8-1, but for them just to outright win the East right now, they're a little better than 7-1. I mean, so, yeah, I'm thinking I should probably put a little on that.
Yeah, insurance bet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've got the Bucks. We'll know more after the Bucks series, but they've got the Bucks, the favorite, and then Toronto, and then Celtics, 76ers right now.
I saw that the Bucks were the biggest favorite out of all the next rounds to win their series over the Celtics, which I thought was interesting. So
that's going to be telling then, man. That's the series. When does that series start?
It's got to start soon. Here, it might start tomorrow. Let me see. No, not tomorrow. It starts the 28th. The 118th day of the year. Celtics 118. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jack.
All right. Appreciate it.
See you. Bye-bye.
That's it. And again, would also be Game 7 of the Clippers and Warriors. And remember, Los Angeles, California is 118, Clippers is 118, and we know about the Bay Area in 118. So I'm thinking this Clippers-Warriors series might actually go to 7 games now that it didn't end at 4-1. We'll see. Okay. I think we can get into today's game. Let's see this Warriors-Clippers game. Let's see what the numbers show. The Warriors are 2-0 in LA in this series. They haven't lost yet there. They could close it out tonight. But, man, that 118th day of the year, there's some reason to think that these teams would play on that day. So the Warriors are at 60 wins for the season and 27 losses. And away, they would be 29-14. The Clippers are 50-37. Remember, Los Angeles is 37. So they could potentially stay at 37 losses in Los Angeles in this game. And at home, they're 26-17. This game's on ESPN. I think ESPN has that 27 connection. If you use that's it does. What's up, caller?
Hey, Zach, you're talking about the Warriors game?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve Kerr, he's going to play his 89th playoff game today.
80.
He can win 2-4 on the 24 day.
Okay, that's a good observation. 89, the 24th prime. Very good.
Yeah, he can get his 67th loss. But I don't really care about that. I called you to talk about did you see the draft last night? Or did you watch it a little bit?
I didn't see any of the draft, actually. I did see that Kyler Murray was #1, which was no surprise.
All right, so there's this kid named Josh Allen. He went #7 last year to the Bills, and this year there's a guy named Josh Allen who went #7 to the Jaguars. And what I find funny is that the Bills and the Jaguars, didn't they have like a Madden shooter that connected both those teams?
They did, and I'm pretty sure Jacksonville or Jaguars equals 77 too. But yeah, the shooter of at the Jacksonville tournament was wearing a Bills jersey. And then there was some big riddle with the Bills and Jags last year. I'd have to go back and look at it. But I'm pretty sure the Jaguars got a 77 connection. Maybe it's just Jaguars. Let me see. Oh, Jaguars with the alphabetic order 77. Okay.
Yeah, and I just found out like they went 7-7, Josh Allen, and then it just didn't make any sense. But
you're right. There's something up with that, man. There's something up with that. I'll look into it.
Yeah, with baseball, I don't really have to tell you. CC Sabathia, he's 3 strikeouts away from 3,000, so I'll let you know when that's about to happen. Vlad Jr., you know about that. There's this. You know the mascot for the Mariners. His name is Moose, and it equals 67.
Oh well, I knew that their mascot was the Moose, but I didn't realize the 67 thing. Perfect. Funny.
Yeah, they call him Moose.
Yeah, perfect.
They were saying yesterday online. They said, "Tell him how many wins we'll win for a chance to win something." How many games they'll win on the season for a chance to win, and it was like Mariner Moose, and he's like verified on Instagram and shit.
I'll have to look into that more. Yeah, that's a good observation. So that goes with their 6-7 home record right now too.
Yeah. Can you? I know you're gonna skip baseball, but can you just like look at the Detroit game? Just take one glance over it and just say how you feel. You don't have to put a pick out. I already know what's going on, but just look at it.
Here's what I would do. The way I feel, I would just bet the opposite right now because that's mostly the way baseball's been. But okay.
No, I'm telling you, Zach, just look at the Tigers game.
Okay. So look, the overlap number. The overlap number. I bet you know what the overlap number is here. It's 37 because Chicago and Detroit are both 37. So.
Thank you.
That said, I got to put the warning out there. We know Chicago is also 46, but the overlap is 37. So that's what I see.
The risk in baseball.
Yeah. All right, man.
All
right. Appreciate it. Yeah, baseball seems like, oh, there's where it's at, and then it goes the exact opposite way. But I mean, the riddles are still coming through, and you see in the scores, but baseball will get right this year. Baseball's scripted the same way. I don't know what they're doing at this early part of the year. Something's definitely amiss, but it'll get back on track. It's just like how NBA went funny for a little more than a month after the Super Bowl this year, but then it got back on track. So sometimes I really do think they're messing with us. Oh, hold on. Let's do this Warriors game. We'll do all the playoff games today. I got one clear insight for an NHL game today, I think. Oh, hold on, we got another call first. Caller.
Hey, how's it going, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
Yes, about the Golden State Warriors game.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna end tonight because just imagine right now you can actually take a bet on which game the series is going to end. Maybe game 6 or game 7. And a lot of money, if you put $10 on the Clippers to win game 7, the odds was like 100 to 1. So if they were to go to game 7 and you put like $10, you win like $1,000, and right there going to game 7, you can hedge the bet. So there's a lot of money for the fans who put for the Clippers to win if the game goes to game 7. So I think it's going to be ending in game 6 for the Golden State to win.
Okay, so to be clear about what you're saying there's a lot of money for the series to go to game 7. So if they end it tonight, then a lot of people lose their money.
Exactly.
Okay. Where are you verifying that at? Where are you getting that information?
Well, no, I mean, I'm just the odds for the Clippers to win the series was 100-1.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, they could go to Game 7 and they could still lose the series.
Yes, but still, once they get to Game 7, you can hedge the bet.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I got you.
So, also, I found out the two of the refs for the NHL game, for the Golden Knights game, they've been suspended for the second round of the playoff.
Oh, because of that call, huh? Funny.
Exactly, and I mean, this is quote unquote. You're supposed to have the best refs in the playoffs, you know, and they can't make and they make mistakes. NFL, the blown call on the league responded. NFL.
We know, man. We know your point's right on. It's the same thing every year, though. The refs are such a joke. I mean, they're just such a joke. I still can't get over the call at the end of the Warriors-Clippers game from the other night where the player dribbled it off Iguodala's foot, who wasn't lifted off the court. It was just a dribble off his foot, and he stole the ball. And then after he stole the ball, then the ref blew the whistle and said kickball. It's like, okay, that is not a kickball, man. I mean, everybody knows that. So,
but in response, the NFL is now going to allow pass interference review.
Right. That was all part of the narrative. All right, appreciate it, Izzy. Great call. Thank you.
Real quick. I mean, I just got real quick also. Another thing, as far as for the MLB, they just put a report that 20% of the strike zone strikes are missed calls by the umpires. Right. So, and then something I dug up something very juicy. You know, I was looking at about I saw your video. You put about the Boston Celtics. Players died. Right. Gone out. So this is if you go to Google and the last game he played, they showed guess what team they played.
Tell me.
Do you know?
I don't.
The Buffalo Braves, right?
Which are the Clippers?
So the Buffalo Braves, right?
They're the Clippers.
And then look, exactly. So the Clippers right now, Los Angeles Clippers. So I just thought, you know, it's just a little interesting, you know, how things line up.
Well, that's what's that's what I was saying. I was saying if somehow the Clippers get past the Warriors in this series, they could actually do another Boston LA NBA Finals. So yeah, okay, well that's a good observation right there. So all right, I'm gonna look more into that.
All right. I'll let you go.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, bye.
I will be surprised if the Clippers get past the Warriors, but this Boston-LA thing has just got my head thinking a little bit. All right, hold on. I'll call you back. I saw you were trying to call in during the last call. I'm calling him back. He was trying to call in a few times. Hey, what's up? What's on your mind?
Man, God, I just think it's going Game 7, but I could be wrong, man. Because Game 6 equals 111, and Steve Kerr could get his 111th career win, career loss, including the playoffs.
Sure. Well, there's reason for that Game 7. I've been saying that's because that's the 118 day. That's the number that connects both cities.
And then I think too, because Sunday with the prophecy and church and stuff, like I mentioned the last time before, how it correlates with church and God. Oracle's 106 feet tall, and prophecy equals 106 and 38. So the Clippers could get their 38th loss in Oracle.
They could also get their 52nd win.
I know. Oh my God.
So,
crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at this real carefully. But man, that 118, we know how big that number is. So there is a good chance this goes Game 7. I got to do the work here though to figure it out. But so that was your thought that it just might go Game 7.
Yeah, because Steve Kerr, if he loses today, he get his 111th loss on Game 6. Game 6 equals 111 in reverse order.
Okay, I'm going to look at all that.
And I also saw one more thing I did see, so it's duality. Los like how they put it on right in front of you, Zach. If you see to the right when you got the game schedule, it says Los Angeles, CA. It don't say Los Angeles, California. Well, that equals. I want to say. God damn, what was it?
I know it equals 113.
Yeah, but Doc Rivers, whatever equals, Doc Rivers could get that loss number. I forgot off the top of my head, but yeah, he could get his, I think, 211th loss, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there is a 211 up there.
Yeah, so he could get his 211th loss.
This is the Warriors' 47th season in Oakland. 211 is the 47th prime, so.
Yeah, so that's the duality I saw with that. So it's tricky, man. But
all right.
Game 6,
I'm going to decode it to pieces right now. We'll see if we can figure it out.
All right, man. Yep.
All right, see. Okay, so to start it, today's date numerology. 69, 42, 24, 49. Warriors is 49. That was part of the reason I thought the Clippers would go down too. I thought they'd stay at those 49 wins. But Warriors is 49, so they have a chance to close it out today. It is the 26th, so we're going to have to keep 101s in mind. 101 is the 26th prime. But we don't have any prime numbers in these dates. It's the 193rd day of the NBA season. That is the 44th prime. Clippers is 44. So again, for the season, the Warriors right now have 60 wins and 27 losses. So they can't get a win or a loss on the total that goes with the date. That's not there. Away, they're 29 and 14. This is going to be their 44th away game of the season. Clippers equals 44. And it'll also be the Clippers' 44th home game. The Clippers at home are 26 and 17. So they could stay at 26 home wins on the 26th. That's one thing going against the Clippers. Staying at 26 home wins on the 26th. They are 50 and 37. 50 and 37. And Los Angeles is 37 if they stayed there. So Staples Center's 49 too. Let me see. What other numbers are in that? Staples. Connection to 38. Staples Center. Okay. So the next game, I just want to think about the numerology of the next date. Again, the next day is the 118th day of the year. 118 connects both cities. And Clippers equals 118 too. This game is on a date with 26 numerology. If the Clippers, well, it wouldn't matter because they'd be away, so that stat wouldn't be showing. But this day it'll have 26 date numerology, like I said. 44 numerology as well. 26, 44. 44 connects to Clippers. And 71. 71. Celtics equals 71. Doc Rivers used to coach the Celtics. That the caller who just pointed out that John Havlicek's last game was against the Buffalo Braves. That I'm going to verify that that's true, but that's a really interesting stat because that's the Los Angeles Clippers. And I can't remember. They might have joined the NBA in 71, actually. All right, hold on. We got another call here. Caller?
Yo, from Doc Rivers' last birthday to today, it's a span of 196 days. That's the square root of 14.
Okay.
He's also playing his 167th playoff game. That's the 39th prime.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's over tonight.
Okay, I see that. I see the square root of 14 and 14. That's a good observation. LA's 14 too. LA's got that 14 connection.
Yeah, and has that 14.
Yeah, and 14, absolutely. So, yeah, very good. Very good. All right, appreciate it. All right, I'm going to keep looking at it. Just the one thing is the 118. I just keep looking at that 118th day. All right, so we know that today's going to be 43 days after Curry's birthday. 43 is the 14th prime, too. Could end the Clippers season here. Can't believe they didn't go 4-1 41 days after Curry's birthday. Since when don't riddles like that hit? Anyway, let's see. And the other thing we were thinking about the NBA is if the Warriors would have closed it out, the 1 seeds would have won 8 games, and the 8 seeds would have won 1 game between the Eastern and Western Conference, just like in the NHL. The 8 seeds won 8 games, and the 1 seeds won 1 game, 1-8, the 18-19 season. Can't believe they messed that riddle up. Okay, let's look at the coaches here. Well, first let's do the M cubed. The M cubed first. Okay, so the Warriors. They can't get a win or loss all time that's prime because it would be even for both. There's no even prime numbers. There's no prime numbers that end in 5 either. Their 1775th home win. They're 179 and 153. Remember, 179 is the 41st prime. LA's 41. That might have been 2 seasons ago now, but that was no accident. Okay, so 154 does connect to Los Angeles, California. It also connects to King James, who's playing in Los Angeles, California. All right. Okay, so there's a thought. Let me make sure. So there's that. NBA teams. Golden State Warriors. Series records. Los Angeles Clippers. 137 and 93. Now, we just saw them pick up that 93rd win in Oracle Arena. That was the Clippers' big prayer last game, is that Oracle Arena equals 93. They got their 93rd win in Oracle. And if the Warriors did lose 2 more, if somehow they lost this series, Warriors is 95. Los Angeles Clippers. Okay. I don't think the 90. I don't know how the 94 fits in. I could see how the 95 would fit in. Away, they're 59 and 56. So that doesn't go with our date numerology. We don't have any 60 or 57 up here. And they're 6 and 6 in the playoffs. So either team could be 6 and 7 against the opponent. Again, 67 is the 19th prime. So in a way, it kind of would make sense for the series to end here. And then from the Clippers' perspective, they would be 6 and 7 because it's the 2019 season. So that's something I could say would go for the Warriors. If the series did go back to Oakland and Oakland won, there's that relationship with 77. 77 equals 49 and Warriors 49. There's one other thought. Okay. So there's not a great clue in the head-to-head record for tonight's game. The most interesting thing was that Los Angeles, California is 154. And what was it? Golden State can get their 154th playoff loss. Caller?
Steve Kerr is going for his 76th playoff win.
and then they could be 7-6. I thought he was going for his 67th in the last game. I got to look at that again.
Yeah, 67. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the last game was on that 67 date, but it was also a 22 date, and he got his 22nd playoff loss. So, all right. Yeah, I'm about to pull up the coaches' stats next and see how things line up with Steve Kerr and Doc Rivers. But yeah,
you might want to look at Nick Nurse too.
Who's he?
He's the coach for the Raptors.
Okay. Well, does he relate to this game?
No, but when they play the 76ers, well, I'll talk to you about that another day.
Okay, you're just saying the next game. But yeah, we'll be looking at the coaches. All right. Appreciate it, man. Okay. Okay, so Doc Rivers stats. Doc Rivers. Wait a minute, this is a player? This is the player, Doc Rivers. I need the coach's stats. Doc Rivers. Kabooch. Stats. There we go. He's 57 years old right now. Well, it's interesting that he's 57. That's that championship number. So we had the Warriors pegged to win 57 games this season. NBA Finals 57. And the Warriors just have that perfect setup, man. 13, be their 13th, 73rd win of the season will win the finals, and this is the 73rd season. All right, let's see. So like somebody said, today's 195 days after Doc Rivers' birthday, or his 196th day of his age, which does have a square root of 14 and end equals 14. So does LA. So the only way you could read that for LA is just that LA does have the 14 connection. His upcoming birthday. Caller?
I just wanted to point out, so you were mentioning 57 with Doc Rivers. Today, for the Hebrew calendar date numerology, is 57 for the full year. Just wanted to point that out.
So on the Hebrew calendar, the numerology is 57?
Yeah, so if you do the full, it's 165. So like everything full year out. Full year is 57. Full expanded, where you expand the day and the month, that's 39. The short year version is 48. The day of the year is 229. There's 156 left in the year. It's the 29th day of the month. It's month day. We're just using the month and the day. Numerology is 29. Month day expanded is 147, and short month and day is 30. And then the expanded multiplied is 35,280, and short multiplied is 1,008.
Okay. Okay, I appreciate that.
I just thought, like, with the 57, it just stood out today with it.
The day. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that.
Oh, and just like quickly, so like earlier today, someone had mentioned stuff about like Patreon comment, like all of that. You know, like with the Sports Decoded stuff that I'm doing, like I've already got the bot made. Like we can integrate it with Patreon, and then you could, permanently.
Oh, you know what, man? I meant okay. After today's podcast, I'm going to put up a post linking your site. I meant to do that 3 days ago, so I need to get that done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still working on it, but I have the games page is auto updating, so like the NHL page is up, where it's just sportsdecoded.com/NHL, and sportsdecoded.com/NBA has the NBA games, and then MLB is just /games right now. But I'm still working on it, so it'll be like this weekend, like more will get done. But
okay, yeah, it's awesome, man.
But I'm adding lunar calendar and lunar numerology as well, so maybe there might be something there as well.
Okay. Yeah. Great idea.
I just wanted to point out the Hebrew thing, though. It just stood out.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Yeah. He's the man building this website that's going to make it so we can just go to a spot and just all the information's pulled there. So be like Gematria for sports, but even better. I'm just noticing that to Doc Rivers' upcoming birthday is a span of 171 days. So his birthday that's later this year. And, Los Angeles Clippers has this Gematria 171 too, which is also interesting. Los Angeles Clippers also 108, like Golden State Warriors, like Oracle. Game 7, if it went there, would be 45 days after Curry's birthday. The geometry number is 45,108. So let me see something real quick. 22 divided by 7, what gives you pi? Steph Curry has the Pi Day birthday. That's 118 too. Like how Game 7 would be on the 118th day of the year. I don't know, man. I think this is going to go to Game 7. The more I look at this, it just seems like that 118th day is destined. Hold on. I know Doc Rivers is 113. What else is in his numbers? Doc Rivers. He's got that 77. Who is 7-6, man? If it ended today, Warriors would be 7-6. Okay, let's look at Steve Kerr real quick here. You know, I was just thinking about Doc Rivers. Today's 195 days after his birthday, or is 196th day of his age. Game 7 would be 197 days after his birthday, which is the 45th prime number for another one of, and it's 45 days after Curry's birthday. Oh, whoops, this is the player, Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr. How do I get the coach? Steve Kerr, the coach. Steve Kerr, Steph Curry. So remember, the last game was on a date with 67 and 22 numerology. We said he could get his 67th win or his 22nd loss. I think I forgot to look at Doc Rivers' record. I'll do that. But tonight, I don't think we have the connection. Well, Staples, he could get his 67th win in the Staples Center. He picked up his 22nd loss in Oakland on the 22 day in the last one. He could have got the 67th win. It is his 89th playoff game, so that was a great observation. 89th playoff game, 24 date numerology, 89 the 24th prime, so there is something to that. He's at 388 playoff wins right now. Let me see if 389's prime. 389, the 77th prime. Look at that. So his next playoff win is his 389th, right? Or his next win is his 389th all-time win, which is the 77th prime. And we saw how in Game 7, if it went there, the Warriors could become 7-7 against the Clippers. He's at 110 losses. His next loss is 111th. Caller earlier said Game 6 equals 111. Game 6 is also 57. Caller just said it's 57 date numerology on the Hebrew calendar, which was big in the NFL season. I forgot to look at Doc Rivers' coaching record. I know he's at 20 career wins now because he could have been stopped at 19 on that 67 date. Could have made so much sense. Doc Rivers could get his 26th playoff loss today on the 26th. Yeah. Huh. This one's tough. This is a tough game here today. I don't think this is going to be our playoff game of the day. I don't think so. Okay, 20 and 26. So 2 days from today, I'm just going to write out what the date numerology would be from 2 days today, just again. So we could also get that 26th loss in the next game, which will be 26 date numerology. Okay. So you could make sense. Oh, I forgot to change the numbers here. The math's all right. I did the math in my head. I just forgot to change the numbers on the screen. So These values are right. This is today's date numerology. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like the Warriors will get by in this series because Doc Rivers is destined for that 26th loss. You could make an argument for today or for Game 7. And I do gotta say that it does seem that more riddles to me are stacking that this goes to Game 7, especially seeing how Steve Kerr would get his 389th win. And that's the 77th prime, and they could become 7-7 against the Clippers in the playoffs, where 77 has the relationship with 49, like Warriors. Let me also think about, all right, let me think about this for a minute, because they're playing Houston next. If they lost today, it would be their 28th loss of the season. And actually, that would make a little bit of sense, because then they would go into the Rockets series on 28 losses. Rockets is 28. And they'd have 61 wins after this series if the Warriors advanced in Game 7 and lost today. Their first win over the Rockets in the next series would be 62. So they lost 3. If they had a 7-game series with Houston, they could. Well, man, Houston is 31 and 32. 31's more pure. Houston Rockets is 77. So that could also be part of the ritual with the going in with the well, I guess I could see that two different ways. If the Warriors did close it out tonight, they'd be at those 27 losses, and then if they got beat by Houston, they'd go to 31. But if the Warriors close, no, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. Well, Steve Kerr's next win is the 389th, the 77th prime, and it should advance him to play the Houston Rockets. So tonight's game's very dangerous. We got riddles going both ways. I do think the Clippers have a few more riddles than the Warriors, though. And again, playing that Game 7 on the 118th day of the year, that is a number that connects both cities. Again, Clippers, 118, Los Angeles, California, 118. And with regards to the Bay Area, if you're new here, I probably put out at least 20 videos since September 2018 showing how significant the number 118 is to the Bay Area. But do remember that if the Warriors lose tonight, they get their 154th playoff loss, and Los Angeles, California is also 154. So Game 7 would be 197 days after Doc Rivers' birthday and 45 days after Steph Curry's 197, the 45th prime. So I wouldn't be comfortable betting on tonight's game personally, but if I had to, I'd bet on the Clippers to cover. That would be my bet. So let's check out the NHL. And what I did is, you guys can't see it, but on a piece of paper, I wrote down all of the total records and home and away records to start round 2 of the playoffs. And I'm going to keep this up to date. I'll transfer all this onto a new blog page that's nice and clean, and just so you guys can have it too. But I won't be having to shift through and do all the calculations today. I got them all ready here. So something stands out right away on the surface. I still got to look at the coaches and the goalies. But in this Hurricanes and Islanders series, I think the Hurricanes got more than a prayer tonight, and it's because of this. The Hurricanes right now for the season are 50-32 in the win and loss column, and away they're 23-19. And that means they could get their 24th away win today on a 24-date numerology. Now, remember, date numerology has been very good in the playoffs. I think for the NBA and NHL in the playoffs, we got to be over 80% with our picks. And where we've gone wrong, where the games have been wrong, it's been because the date numerology didn't hit in those games. So we're going to look a little bit more carefully to make sure that there's not a date numerology that goes for the Islanders coach or goalie, something that makes this a little bit more of a tear. But right away, it's been the team records and the date numerology that have us at the 80+% mark we're at for NBA and NHL playoffs. And right away, Hurricanes can get that 24th win. I was scanning this last night, and that jumped out. It made my eyeballs pop out. For the Islanders on the season right now, they are 52-27 overall. That means their next win will be their 53rd. Hurricanes equals 53. So does Carolina. That's a big number there with them. And at home, they're 26-13. So if they lost today, they would stay at 26 wins on the 26th. And remember, Islanders equals 101. That's the 26th prime. So maybe a good day for them to stay at 26 home wins as well. So just on the surface, the date and the date numerology seems to favor the Hurricanes. But what I haven't done yet is look at the coaches and the goalies. So let's do that right now and see if we can find something here. NHL teams, series records, Hurricanes, 63-71 in the playoffs. So that's the winner-loss potential there. Doesn't go with the date. And the New York Islanders, 148-120. Their next win's their 149th, which is the 35th prime. And their next loss is the 121st, which has a square root of 11, like New York's the 11th state. So that's not going with today's date. Caller?
What's up, Zach?
Hey.
Hey, so the Carolina Hurricanes at 53 is so huge with them. If they win tonight, they'll be 5-3 in the playoffs. And then the Islanders are playing their first home game in Brooklyn, I think, in quite some time. And they're 4-0. So I think Brooklyn equals 41 too.
It does.
So yeah.
So they're playing in Brooklyn tonight, and they don't normally play there?
Yeah, I think the last few weeks of the season they were playing out on the island, if I'm not mistaken. So now they're back home. That's
a really great observation, and you know what? I need to bring that. I need to make a note about that because what was it yesterday? Columbus lost yesterday, right? And they were 4-0, and they became 4-1 in the playoffs on a 41 date numerology. So yeah, we need to be. You're right. We need to be keeping a running track of the current playoff record too. That's a really great observation.
Cool. All right, Zach.
All
Sounds
right.
good, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, awesome call. Yeah, that's awesome right there. I meant to do that and I forgot. So his call was right on time. Carolina won their first series 4-3. So if they did win tonight, they would be 5-3. And again, Carolina's 53, Hurricanes 53. Caller.
Hey Zach, do you actually track your 50 percentage because you say it seems?
Yeah. How about anyone who's been paying attention, we've been doing the playoffs, we're at least 80%. We're hitting almost every game. So I knew that was the troll because it's the unknown caller ID. It's probably Rudy. Let's see. Let's check out the coaches here. Hurricanes coach. Brenda Moore. Okay, so for the playoffs, so it's his first year coaching, so it makes sense that he could become 5-3. And for the season, he's 50-32, just like we talked about. I think if Carolina wins tonight, they probably lose the next game. We'll look at the numerology of the next game, but I'm just thinking if they lost for the season, they would be. So if they win tonight, they'd get their 51st win. He'd get his 51st win as well, and then the next loss would be the 33rd. So 51-33. Those are New York numbers. So that would make a lot of sense. 51-33. And let's just see what the date numerology is of the next game. So next game's in 2 days. So that's the 118th day of the year. So that would be 71, 44, 26. It would have a lesser numerology of 51 in 2 days. 51-33. Okay. And I guess just for kicks, we can keep track of how far it is from the birthday. His birthday's August 9th. Today, April 26th. 260 days. So that's that 26 kind of again. I will go against the Islanders. To his upcoming birthday, 105 days, or a span of 106. All right. All right, hold on. Islanders coach. Barry Trotz. So he's 59-58 for his career in the playoffs. The Islanders 4-0. So that's not going to go with the date. Make sure there's not a connection there. Team name. You know, Hurricanes is 62. If the Hurricanes won this series, he would pick up his 62nd playoff loss. He would pick up his 62nd playoff loss if they won the series. Games. Okay, and his birthday, July 15th. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I think the Hurricanes are a lock for clinching the series against the Islanders. That 53 is everywhere, even in Columbus and Boston. It just seems like it makes so much sense. And you just brought up that fact about Trotz getting the losses. If he lost, 4 games. So I think the Hurricanes look really solid.
Columbus Blue Jackets are the other team with the 53 connection. So if Columbus came back and beat Boston, I don't know what that sinking ship story, but Boston carries the 53 through the Super Bowl maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, just seeing that he could get 62 losses. But I am just thinking about how the Islanders have that 101 thing. That said, 2 101 teams got knocked off in the first round. It would be interesting if a 101 team got knocked off in each round. So I'm just seeing how that could be. Like we had 2 knocked off in the first round. That was it was Nashville and Toronto. They carried the 101 connection. If, say, the Islanders got knocked off in this round, the Sharks in the other conference, if they got past Colorado, could get knocked off. I wonder if there would be no 101 teams left. I got to keep thinking about it, but trying to figure out what the pattern is.
I think that in just observing and trying to follow the storylines and so forth, that the Sharks are actually going to get knocked out by the Avalanche. I think Von Miller killing the Shark, I think that was the sign. And also regards regular season records.
Wait. What did you say about killing the Shark?
I think if I got the story right, Von Miller killed the Shark the day of or the day before Sharks beat Vegas in Game 7.
Von Miller, the Denver Bronco, really?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. So that's why I lean that way. Actually, I'm pretty solid that way. And also, the Sharks have beaten the Avalanche during the regular season, just like the Islanders have beaten the Hurricanes in the regular season. So I think they're just flipping it.
I can't believe this Shark story, man. Yeah, very good observations. Okay, this is too funny. All right.
Yeah, that's what I think.
All right, okay. I appreciate it, man.
All right, Zach.
All right. This is why you need multiple eyes looking at things. I didn't know about this Von Miller Shark story. God, I hate the way they do this. Oh, my God. Okay. There was also the Avalanche right outside of Calgary that killed climbers right after the Avalanche beat Calgary. About a year after posing with a freshly caught hammerhead shark. What day was this? April 23rd. This was the same day the Sharks won. That's officially, oh my God. July 2016. Hold on. 2016 Stanley Cup playoffs. We got to see what went on that year. Can I get a bracket here? San Jose played that year. San Jose went to the championship that year. They lost to Pittsburgh. 4-2. San Jose Sharks 42. Denver wasn't in it that year. Okay, we're going to have to think more about that. There's definitely something to that story. That's no accident right there. There's no accident. How do I pause this? Caller?
Zach, it's Rob from Vegas.
Hey, man.
You were just looking at that shark story. Von Miller didn't kill that shark. He caught and released. That's why they let him go. He didn't get charged.
Okay. Caught and released, but he posed with it?
Yeah, I thought that was crazy as hell, but I'm just going off what the story said.
Okay, so yeah, it's a bizarre story, obviously, but okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to look more at it before we get to that game. We got time to think about it, but it's good to know about. Appreciate it. All right. Thanks, man. All right. So we'll look more at that story. It's not today's game, but – or wait, it is – never mind. It is today's game. All right, I'm going to go back and read the Von Miller story. Hold on. Okay, Barry Trotz. Where was I? So Barry Trotz, the win, because Carolina doesn't have a 63 connection, but they do have a 62 connection. So if they lose the series, they're at 62 losses. He was also born in 62. And did I look at his birthday? July 15th. Okay, this guy coached the Capitals last year. Coached the Capitals. 9 months, 11 days. 9 months, 11 days in New York. Okay. But it's looking like Carolina has a pretty good riddle tonight. It sure does. Wait a minute. This game starts this early, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time? Why is it starting so early? The playoffs? Okay. I do have to say that I don't have the lines up there. I imagine Islanders are the favorite. They got to be, right? So Islanders, the favorite. Again, you know my betting strategy. If there's a favorite, take the spread just in case they lose in a close game. But Hurricanes definitely have the better riddle to win. There is no doubt about that. So So there's that game. And Avalanche and Sharks. Okay, let's look at the numbers and then we'll finish it off with the Von Miller story. So the Sharks in the playoffs are 4-3, and the Avalanche are 4-1. They beat Calgary 4-1. Calgary's 41. Colorado's 43. The Sharks for the season are 50-30, and at home are 28-12. So that's not going to go with our date. We don't have a date connection there. And the Avalanche are 19-17. Wait, no. Yeah, that's right. 19-17 away. So that doesn't go with our date either. San Jose does have the 61 connection. That's the 18th prime. Let me see when these teams play again next. So they play in two. Oh, wait. I'm looking at, hold on. I got the wrong day up here. I apologize. Okay. So they play again on the 28th. Play again on the 28th. Same teams playing. They're on the same pattern. All right, so they play again on the 28th. And again, the 28th will have date numerology of 71, 44, 26. That game will also be in San Jose. So things aren't going to line up with the date numerology there. The only thing I could say that goes against the Sharks in this game is the next game is on the 28th. And if they lost today, they would stay at 28 home wins. And they'd come in on the game on the 28th with 28 wins as well. So we don't have a date numerology read. Let's see if we can get something from MQ. NHL teams, series records. All right. Avalanche 141 and 127. Their next loss is the 31st prime. If they got 142 today has the 42 date numerology. When you write out 42 as a word, it equals 142. San Jose Sharks equals 42. So there's a little rhyme and reason to them getting the 142nd win. And Colorado, San Jose Sharks. Look at that. The Sharks could get their 116th playoff loss. Today's the 116th day of the year. They just got their 113th win on the 113th day of the year. So 116th loss on the 116th day of the year for the Sharks. That's the same logic we just went with in the last game where they got the win. NHL teams, San Jose Sharks, series records. Caller?
Hey, did you look at the Colorado game?
Are you talking about for NHL?
NHL.
I'm doing it right now.
All right. There was a big fire on I-70 in Denver yesterday.
I saw that.
That was all over the news, so you might want to look at that.
Yeah, I did. 68 date numerology, Denver 68. There's something up with that.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay, Colorado Avalanche versus San Jose. So all-time 58-58. This is going to be the 122nd game. 34-26 at home. That makes things tight. They could stay at 26 losses on the 26th, plus the next game's on a date with 26 numerology, so that makes things a little bit dicey. That makes things a little bit dicey there. It's also going to be the 26th game. That's tough. That's tough. Let's look at the coaches here. Let me think about one other thing. Yeah. All right. Avalanche coach. Jared Bednar. Jared Bednar. 71, the 20th prime. 107, the 28th prime. The other thing about the Avalanche is they're at 42 wins on the season. Today has the 42 date. If they didn't win, they'd stay at 42. It's another thing to think about there. And there's got that 26 connection. 118 next game on the 118th day. I was just thinking real quick, if the Sharks drop the first two at home, they could pick up their 28th loss on the 28th. That's another way to look at it. Because when you're already on the number that goes with the day, it's never as strong of a riddle. This guy's coaching record. Six and 5. We heard on the Hebrew calendar it's got 57 date numerology. 200. He could stay at 100. No, that's regular season. 109 wins all time, 121 losses. Bednar. The Sharks coach is 1132, like how they got that 113th win in that miracle comeback on the 113th day of the year. Perfect. Oh, okay. So the Sharks coach, his birthday is the 59th day of the year. Today's the 116th, so it's 57 days after his birthday, or a span of 58 days. And this guy's birthday is June 13th. That's the 164th day of the year. So his birthday is in 48 days, or a span of 49. Span of 49 sharp. Or no, I'm not sure about that. So he's 40 and 31. No, that's not right. He lost, he gets 35th loss. Let me see what game 3 would be. Game 3 would be right here. Here, I want to do the same thing. I want to do this real quick. All right, so we got April 26, we got April 28, we got April 30th. Today's date numerology was 69, 42, 24, 49. April 28th would be 71, 44, 26, 51, and April 30th is 73, 46, 19, and 53. I'm just going down the road here just to see if we can play again on May 2nd. May 2nd. It'd be 46, 19, 28. Wait, 26. Oh, yeah, that's right. May 4th would be, well, is it May 4th? Is that what day they play? Yeah. That would be game 5. May 4th, 48, 21, 28, 86. Would that be the next game? So it's nice that the games that start today, they're all mapped out the exact same way. May 6th, May 8th. Okay. We're just going to see if, looking at the records, if anything lines up, see if we can figure out how the flow of this might go. 50, 23, 30, May 8, 52, 25, 32. Okay. Let's think about this again. The Hurricanes come in 50 and 32. And we saw that the Sharks could get their 116th playoff loss today on the 116th day of the year. If that happened, the Hurricanes would come into this game with a lesser date numerology of 51. Or, no, hold on. Avalanche Sharks, I'm getting confused. Series. So if the Sharks actually lost today, the Sharks is who could pick up their 51st win of the season on the lesser date numerology of 51 in the next game. Then again, if the Sharks won the first two, they'd have a chance at their 53rd win on the lesser date numerology of 53 here. This game will be back in... this game will be in Colorado, and you know what? I see that the Sharks could get their 19th away loss of the season. So this date, these first 3 date numerology methods are the strong ones. The Sharks could get their 19th away loss right here. So that's probably what's going to happen in that game. 19th away loss would line up right there. They'd come in with 19 away losses. We wouldn't have the alignment, though, with this game for home and away records. But okay, this looks like a game we can probably peg. I would think that the Sharks look destined for that 19th away loss right there. This game, though. This game will have 71 date numerology. That's the 20th prime. If the Avalanche won game 1, they'd be at 20 away wins. They could stay at 20 away wins in this game. Again, the reason to believe the Sharks could lose game 1 is because they would get their 116th playoff loss. So, another thought actually is if the Avalanche won the first 2 games, they would get their 44th win of the season. They could actually start off 2-0. Ooh, this is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one here. Yeah, we got riddles here. We got riddles that kind of go both ways. They're at 42 wins. If they win both, they're at 44. I think we're going to need to look at the Von Miller thing here. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to play it game by game, but we do see some potential riddles. I am thinking, though, right here, that 19, the Sharks picking up their 19th away loss makes a lot of sense in that game. So. Okay. If the Avalanche swept the series, which is hard to imagine, they could get their 46th win of the season in Game 4. Just another thing to think about. So it does seem that the Avalanche have a little bit better riddle tonight because, again, the all-time series records. We just saw the Sharks get that 113th win on the 113th day of the year. Same logic. Potential 116th loss tonight on the 116th day. And just the one hiccup in that was right here. Just that they're at 26 home losses. And today's the 26th. And the next game is on a 26 date numerology. So their arena name equals 101 as well. They were the team with 101 points in the season. All right, let's read more about this Von Miller Shark story. It looks like again, all the world of sports is a web connected together with riddles. All right, about a year after posing with a freshly cut, and we saw that this story was from 2016, the year that the Sharks lost in the Stanley Cup. About a year after posing with freshly caught hammerhead shark and prompting complaints from PETA officials, Denver Broncos star Von Miller has officially avoided charges from the incident. USA Today reported Thursday. So they reported this yesterday, the 115th day of the year. The owner and operator of the boat hosting Miller's April 2018 expedition, however, was charged with both fishing for sharks without a proper permit and failure to release a shark in the manner that will ensure maximum probability of survival. That's according to a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration records. They were issued $2,000 fine. Von Miller wears 58, and wasn't this series at 58-58? Yeah, okay, so this is totally about this series, okay? He does wear number 58. Okay. What's hammerhead equal anyway? Coach of the Sharks has Gematria 59 and 58, like Freemasonry. Hammerhead's 50. The Sharks come into the series with 50 wins. I thought we just read in another. Oh, okay. So this just happened in 2018, and he has another story from 2016, the year the Sharks went to the Stanley Cup. I just got to look at these details they're putting in here. Turks, 59, the 17th prime. 46, how many wins they're trying to get to. $47.74, Denver, Colorado, 74, 223. Miller, look at his name. 1. Caller?
Yeah, hi, Zach. I was looking at that story. I interpret it as the Avalanche may win the first few games of the series, but then the Sharks get away. So they might come back at the end. Like it might be 3-1 or 3-0 for the Avalanche, and then the Sharks get away.
I see. Catch him and let him go. I see what you're saying there. That makes sense.
Yeah, like they have them, but then they let them off the hook. You know, they always use that expression, let them off the hook.
Sure, that makes some sense. That's a good thought.
Yeah. All right, well, I just want to chime in with that. Keep going. Doing a great job.
All right, appreciate it. I see another riddle here. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, yeah, thanks, man. Okay, so check that out. From Von Miller's birthday to the start of this series is 31 days, or it would also be his 32nd day of his age if I do the span, right? And the thing about that is Avalanche equals 31. So does Denver. Denver's 31 and 32. Okay. The yesterday had 68 date numerology. There was the major wreck outside of Denver. Okay. Caller?
Hey, you see that Von Miller equals 51 and the Avalanche can go 5-1 today?
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, great point.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Whoever was just trying to call in, you can call back. I was just on the other line, but that is a great point that the Avalanche could go 5-1 today. That would also give the Sharks the 116th playoff loss on the 116th day of the year. So it looks like today in the NHL, if you're going to bet, the smart pick is probably again both away teams to cover. And let's see how the money's laying in Vegas right now. See what's going on with that. Caller?
Hey, I know this might sound a little abstract, but the other day there was an article about Doc Rivers losing $2,000, I think. And then I'm looking at this Von Miller article, and then he was assessed a fine for $2,000.
2,000. Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
Okay, anyway. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay.
Caller?
A story from California in the LA Times on Sunday night. A 38-year-old retired minor league hockey player. He was found dead in his apartment by his roommate at 9:30 at night, and he played for the San Diego Gulls. The last time he played was in 2006.
Do you know what team they're connected to in the NHL?
No, I don't. I just saw the story in the LA Times Sunday night, and the police said it was a really weird thing. They don't know when he was killed, but his roommate came home after being gone for a few days and found him dead with one of his friends in the Newport Beach area.
Okay. Yeah, if he's connected to a certain team, that could be important information.
Yeah, I'm not sure which team, but I just wanted to let you know about that.
Okay, appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, yeah, thanks. "38-year-old, notice that. Death, murder, killing, RIP, 38. If we don't know what team he's connected to, though, it's hard to do anything with that. Yeah. All right. Good heads up, but without knowing the team connection, it's tough. Okay, so it looks like in the San Jose, they got 2/3 of the money right now. And the other game, Islanders got big money on them, 83%. So the home teams are favored. That's where the Vegas money is. There's a bigger discrepancy in here. And the better riddle tonight is the Hurricanes to win. Easily the better riddle between the two games is the Hurricanes over the Islanders. But the Sharks picking up that 116th loss on the 116th day of the year, that's a riddle that seems to be the strongest out of everything we looked at here. I think we're going to have after whatever happens in game one, I think we'll have a pretty good read for game two. But I'm favoring the Avalanche here to get it done. And the caller making the point about how they caught the Shark and let it go, that's something we're going to have to think about if the Avalanche get a 2-0 lead. We did see how the Avalanche could get their 44th win of the season in the next game, which is a date with 44 numerology. And we also saw how this story is all synced up with Von Miller. It is a good point that Von Miller equals 51, as the Colorado team could be 5-1. So, bear with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Patreon right now and just post a comment for the NHL. And it's just going to take a second. If you guys want to just take a quick break, and then we'll just scan the MLB games again and just review one more time what we looked at in the NBA. But just since the first NHL game's about to start, and it looks like the better pick of the day, I want to get this information out there. So, April 26, 2019, NHL games. Carolina. Can you call me in a minute when I'm not typing? Carolina at New York Islanders. Here we go. Carolina at New York. Carolina can become 5-3 in playoffs. Carolina equals 53. Hurricanes equals 53. Islanders can get, what is it? Hurricanes can get 24. Denver at you're right, Colorado. Colorado at San Jose. Okay. Okay. I think those are the main points that were worth putting out there. Of course, there was some more information, but I think those are the main deciding factors that you have to look at. So I guess maybe I'll just make one more note that hold on, what was it? It was about the Sharks. That's what it was. I gotta make one more note just so people know. Sharks. Okay. Something else that I'm just thinking about is if Colorado did lose today, they would start the playoffs 4-2, and San Jose Sharks was 42, but still that 116th playoff loss on the 116th day of the year. Make one more note. Okay. All right. So I just wanted that out there for people before. I guess I should put the time it starts at too. Okay. So let's go back and just talk one more time about what we saw in that Warriors game, and then scan baseball. The Warriors game's pretty dicey today, but man, there's just that 118 connection has me thinking this might go Game 7. You know who we should look at? We should look at the Clippers star player, the Allen Iverson inspired guy, to see what kind of alignment he has. He seems to be the Warriors killer when they win. What's up, Busy?
Hey, so I don't know if you've noticed, but Klay Thompson at the first, he was talking about playing the Rockets, and now since they lost the last game, he's talking about beating the Rockets by 30 points, I guess. And that's the storyline that came out in the news, in the article, in the interview. And then
Wait. So I know that the last time Klay Thompson won Game 4 in LA, he was making the comments about getting ready for the Rockets and how they owed the fans a good game in Oakland, and then they lost. So are you saying that his comments about the Rockets are since they lost in Oakland, or what?
Yes. He's saying that I guess now we got to make a statement and beat LA by 30 points.
Oh, tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
And then an irony, the Houston Rockets already traveled to Oakland to prepare for the potential, quote-unquote potential, Game 7, Game 1 against Golden State, which will be Sunday, which can be actually a Game 7 for the Clippers if they win tonight.
Game 7 would be Game 1 against the Rockets would be Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to look at that. That could be a big clue. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So they already traveled to Oakland to prepare for that quote-unquote game, first game. And then in the article it says, we mean no disrespect to LA Clippers. Kind of funny.
Okay, I'll look at that. That could be a betting trap, but I'm going to look at that story. We'll look at the date numerology of Sunday. All right, appreciate it.
That's it.
All right, good tip. Thanks. Hold on, let me just make sure I wrote all the right information. Yesterday I wrote my notes in a hurry, and I forgot to put up the thing about Boston at first. All right, let me see. Caller?
Hello, Zach.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is Denham.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I think it's interesting that the last series that this Golden State team lost to, besides the LeBron James team, is the Clippers in 2014. Like this dynasty with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and them, their last team they lost to before their dynasty run were the Clippers, were Chris Paul's Clippers. You know, they blew the 3-1.
Right.
They blew the 31-point lead.
Right. They blew the. I was thinking about that too. They blew the 31-point lead. Could they blow a 3-1 series lead?
Yeah, and LeBron James is LA now. He was they lost to him 3-1.
So
and he came back 3-1 on them.
Right, exactly. I pointed out that King James equals 154, Los Angeles, California equals 154. If the Warriors lose tonight, they'll get their 154th playoff loss.
And if you look at Game 7, right, Zach? If you look at the date for Game 7, that's on the 28th, right?
The 118th day?
Yeah. Let me try that. I was given the right. So if you look at Doc Rivers' birthday, October 13th, if you look at his 2019 birthday to Game 7, 4/28/2019, that's 168 days, and Cleveland Cavaliers equal 168.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And Steve Kerr's birthday his 2019 birthday would be a span of 153 days from Game 7, and Cavaliers equal 153. That's pretty crazy.
That is very interesting. It was also pointed out that the man who died last night for the Celtics, that the last career game he ever played against was the Buffalo Braves, and that's who the Los Angeles Clippers are now. So.
And think about how Doc Rivers could play his son next round. His son used to be on the Clippers.
Well, who's he play on now?
Austin Rivers plays on the Rockets. He's Chris Paul's dad.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Obviously that would be who the next round is. Okay, yeah, he sucks too. He shouldn't even be in the NBA. But okay, he's on the Rockets now. Okay.
Yeah, that was just a few tips, Zach.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good information. Appreciate it, Adam.
Okay.
Yeah, if the Warriors get eliminated in this round, the Clippers are going to be my new favorite in the Western Conference for the Boston-Seattle thing. But I'm still having just so much trouble imagining it. The Warriors have everything: 73rd season, 73 wins. They're the 73 team. So hold on, let's see. Caller.
Okay, we're talking about Doc Rivers. Look up Doc Rivers calls out Charles Barkley, ESPN in Vegas before popping champagne. Says Rivers with a bottle of champagne in hand yelled about how ESPN, Charles Barkley, and Las Vegas all predicted the team would win 33 games this year.
When was that story from?
There's also like other posts out there where they're like talking about like Rockets, Clippers, locker room dust up and 33 hilarious tweets on SBNation.com. So like this is back from 2018, but still, there's a lot of these 33 connections with Clippers and Rockets, and then this year, and then predicting 33. It just seems weird.
Okay, yeah, that is interesting. So that game was that article's from the 86th day of the year, March 27th, and the first year that they used the name NBA Finals was the year 86. So
wow,
yeah, that stands out. All right, appreciate it, man.
All right, bye.
That's it. And let's just see how many days Doc Rivers' birthday is October 13th. So let's just see how many days it was from his birthday to that article. It was his 166th day of his age, or 165 days. I think Staples Center is 166. No, I'm wrong about that. It's not. Caller.
Yeah, I was a huge John Havlicek fan. So when I saw that last night, I thought that was bode well for the Celtics. But I asked my son to look up when he was born, and it was 17 days after, and he just looked at me. You know?
Yeah. Did you see my video on his death?
Yeah, you can't. I was just sad because I actually saw the last game he ever played against the New Jersey Nets at the Rutgers Stadium. They used to play in Piscataway.
So wait, it's not true that he played his last game against the Buffalo Braves?
No, that was his last game against the Nets. But the picture came out of him playing, a picture of him playing against the Buffalo Braves. So I don't know if that was his last game, but I believe that to be true.
Okay.
Bob McAdoo was a famous Buffalo Brave that went to the Lakers. So there's some connection there for sure with LA and Buffalo, for whatever that's worth.
He had a +17 in his last game against Buffalo.
So I've been talking to your buddy. I don't know if it's one of the callers who will call in today, listen to your show, listen to you Wednesday night. But I sent our buddy from New York. I'm going to meet up with him this week. I sent him some information about Rory because you kind of laughed at me a little bit, like where you thought Rory the Masters, right? I want to read you something.
Well, hold on. I wasn't laughing at you. I know it's good information.
In a bad way.
Okay.
No, nothing disrespectful. You know what you're doing, right? I want you to read. I'm going to read to you what he wrote. Okay? And you want to be entertained? This guy is good.
He is.
So Samuel Jackson Snead is his official name. Sam Snead, right? Just tied with Tiger.
Okay.
I'll read it quickly, and then you just... All-time PGA win leader Sam Snead's full name is Samuel Jackson Snead. Makes you think of Samuel Jackson, the actor. Samuel Jackson equals 81. In Gematria, 81, a big number for Tiger Woods. He's second all-time with 81 wins. Samuel Jackson did a movie in 2002 called Formula 51, or The 51st State. It has 2 titles. 51st State, some state 81, and Centenary. It wasn't a golf movie, but it takes place in Britain, and he does play golf in the end. He's an avid golfer. He plays a character named McElroy with an E, not an I. Now think about that. So you have Samuel L. Jackson Snead, whatever, and McElroy. His character was McElroy. Fast forward to 2016, the Golf Channel website blasts the headline, Samuel L. Jackson, I beat Tiger Woods at St. Andrews. And you can go find that. The movie where Samuel Jackson played Formula, the movie where Samuel Jackson plays a character named McElroy is Formula 51 or the 51st State. In Gematria, I beat Tiger sums to 51. The last time the British Open was in Northern Ireland was 51. And I thought about this famous duel between Nicklaus and Watson. The duel in the sun took place at Turnberry in Scotland. Turnberry equals 51. Now, Samuel Jackson beat Tiger at St. Andrews. I lost my place for last night. Samuel L. Jackson beat Tiger St. Andrews with the help of a 16 handicap. A 16, a big number. At age 16, McElroy shot 61 at the site of the upcoming Open. Also compare the Gematria of 61 and McElroy, both 41 and 40. Compare 51st State and 16-year-old, both 46 in 2002. Rory born 5'4", 89. He was born in Hollywood, Northern Ireland. So there's the Samuel Jackson played a character, McElroy, before he was even on the scene. And the story followed up with he beat Tiger Woods at a 16 handicap at St. Andrews. That's what this guy came up with.
Yeah, that's all very interesting. I just think it's interesting how the character would have been black, right? So, yeah.
So imagine that McElroy with an E. Now it's McElroy didn't. He shot that round. I had it backwards. There's still. But McElroy didn't really come into the scene until 2005 when he shot that 16. But that was 3 years before he really became. He was on TV and stuff. But McElroy was always about Tiger. I want to be like Tiger, wearing the Nike stuff and all of other stuff.
Right.
All that. So the lineup for this run-up is one of the reasons they removed the PGA is so that it comes to the next duel in the sun, as far as I'm concerned, is McElroy and Tiger at the British Open in Northern Ireland, a guy who's from Hollywood, Northern Ireland.
Yeah, this is hilarious, man.
I to set you, but like I look at this and I'm like, this guy came up with it. But Samuel L. Jackson, Samuel Jackson Snead played a character named McElroy.
I got it up on the screen. Him in this character carrying around his golf clubs.
Right now, I try to find the movie on there, but and I spell McElroy different. They spell with an E.
His name's Elmo McElroy.
So when you say crazy and these things cross over, I saw the Havlicek.
Look at that, man. Elmo McElroy equals 89.
Right.
Like Grand Slam.
So the amazing thing of this, when everybody who's watching the show, if you're listening on Wednesday night, is you should be doing your own decoding, look at stuff. When things come up to you, look at it, because you'll come up with so many different things from different ways, right?
Right. Yeah, that's for sure.
And this guy, obviously very good, but just that he came up with McElroy, so when he hit that, I go, what'd you think? He goes, he was like, his head was shaking. Like Samuel Jackson Snead. Right? First thing, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
And he first thing he thought about was the actor. See how that kind of works? Like everybody kind of goes down a different path, but I'll tell you one thing, I don't think the league will get away with the awarders losing.
And Sam Snead died at age 89.
Right. So
and
trying to figure out these riddles are advanced, right?
Right.
But think about that for those people that are listening. That Samuel Jackson played a character named McElroy. McElroy's tied with, and the reason I brought up the duel in the sun was a famous match. If you go look in 1977, was Watson against Nicholas, and they had a 10-shot lead against everybody else. And it was just them and them, and it was really like the passing of the torch at some level. It was Jack towards the end, and Watson coming into his own, which is very somewhat level is that McElroy would be the next chosen one at some level, even though
Well, to me, this riddle's looking better for Tiger to win the Grand Slam. That's the way I read it. I'm also noticing that Samuels needs 102, just like how Tiger, the Masters, began on his 102nd day of his age. So.
Well, I'm still betting on that. I'm just saying, I think it's going to be. I think McElroy is a big player at the British Open.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Him to place.
It's going to be him and Tiger mano a mano.
I think you're right.
At the end, and that's the story. Whether matter of fact, you play both of them at some level, you don't lose. Like
I agree. Well either way. I agree. I think you're right on. I think it was written, and then you got Tiger, and you got Sam Jackson on the day Tiger won it with his big tweet about Tiger too. I'm looking at. But yeah, this is crazy. This just shows how scripted it is. So the fact that character name equals 89, Grand Slam's 89, and Sam Snead died at 89. I mean, that's just. So
I just thought you'd find that your callers would find that fascinating. Just when I read that, I was like, "What?" Now these guys have been putting stuff together, all these linked up. Well, let's see. I said, "What do you thought when you saw McElroy?" He just was like shaking his head, right?
Right.
Like, how's the guy named McElroy? And I beat Tiger Woods by 16 strokes, or 16 handicap, and that's the 61-16. Of course, 61's 18th prime, going for his 18th major, right? It's all so. I thought everybody found that entertaining. I just shake my head. You said you get this stuff drives you crazy. I don't know. I don't know how this stuff gets woven so together like this.
Dude, it's crazy how they do it. But yeah, this movie came out in 2002, back in Tiger's heyday too. So that would have been. It'll be almost 17 years old when if Tiger does the Grand Slam.
And the funny thing, Tiger really was never been close to the Grand Slam. Obviously, he's always a threat to start the year, but he's really never won the first two events. So, he's won 4 in a row, but he won the second, third, fourth, and first.
The 51st state, if you use the numbers, equals 76, like Tiger and Woods also.
Right. It's just, but it's just the funny thing that Rory's from Hollywood, California.
Yeah, that's perfect too.
I mean, Hollywood, North Carolina. But the funny thing is, I started looking up Rory's wife. He was supposed to marry that tennis player, Carolyn Wozniacki, and they sent out invitations, and they canceled the wedding 2 weeks after the invitations went out. And he married this girl from the PGA of America, Erica Stoll, and I can't find anything about her. It's like a mystery.
Huh.
Like, who is this person? Like, it's very, very weird that somebody be that high profile. Now married to a famous golfer, she's just like out of nowhere.
Huh.
So I just thought everybody find that interesting. I know you guys were talking hockey and trying to figure out all the stuff, but I thought it would be a good.
Oh yeah, man, it's the call of the week. So.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'm digging the Tiger Grand Slam even more than I was before, man. That character's name is 89. So. Okay. That movie came out on the day leaving 74 days left in the year. All right, so this guy did play his last game against the Buffalo Braves, who are now the Boston Celtics. And this morning, good caller from Arizona, he pointed out that his name equals 118, the man who died. And the number of the year in sports. Celtics is 118, so is Clippers. So the Clippers got a prayer. If the Clippers get past the Warriors, this is my new pick for the NBA Finals. I'm still going to be surprised if the Warriors go down. Remember the day that Nipsey Hussle died, the Warriors won against Charlotte, which is Steph Curry's hometown, and they won 137-90. On the 90th day of the year, where Nipsey Hussle died 137 days from his birthday in LA. They won by 47. Nipsey Hussle's death had a lot to do with 47. So there's some complicated riddle here. But man, I'm thinking game 7. It's It's very possible. So again, just in case you missed the earlier NBA decode, let me show you some things that we talked about. There's a lot of reason to believe in Game 7, which would be on the 118th day of the year. There is some reason to believe the Warriors can close it out tonight. If the Warriors lose one more game and do advance, they'll be at 28 losses on the season. Rockets equals 28. Rockets also equals 62, meaning their first win in the next round, if it is against the Rockets, would be 62. I'm going to look at the potential Game 1 day matchup, which would be this Sunday. This Sunday, that's also... So, is that right? Caller said, because Game 7 is scheduled here, they would change this to Game 1 of the Warriors-Rockets? I guess these... So this series is starting here. Okay, but hold on. Before I figure out and verify that's true, just things that we're talking about today. Let me put up the standings here. We don't have any strong date numerology, Reed. Caller?
Hey, Zach, are you saying that Game 7 could possibly start on 4/28?
Somebody called in and said that's what day Game 1 of the Rockets-Warriors series would start if they win tonight.
But if the Clippers won, wouldn't that link Nipsey Hussle to that London Marathon on the same day?
That's true, too. That is the day of the London Marathon. Yeah.
And the black and red jerseys on Sunday?
Black and
like
red
Tiger.
jerseys. Are you saying the Clippers wear black and red jerseys?
Yeah, someone in chat mentioned that.
Okay. I haven't noticed those before.
Take a look at it, maybe. So
Okay.
I see it.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, I know Game 7 would definitely be Sunday. Maybe Game 1 would be, but I got to look at that. So again, the record for the season. This isn't updating with the regular season, so the Warriors are 60 home wins, 27 losses. ESPN, where the game is, does have the 27 connection. They could stop there. 61's the 18th prime. ESPN's 18 in both reduction ciphers. If I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, their record could make sense with ESPN. If you use the rule for ESPN's 27. So the only thing, there's no date numerology thing. There's a potential network connection. Away, the Warriors are 2-0 in this series, so they're 29-14. It's going to be the 44th game. Clippers equals 44. It's the 193rd day of the NBA season, the 44th prime. It'll also be the Clippers' 44th home game. The Clippers for the season are 50-37. Now, remember, Los Angeles equals 37. So if they won tonight, they'd defend, they'd stay at 37 losses in Los Angeles. And at home for the season right now, they're 26-17. That means that the ESPN riddle could go either way, 27 or 18, but it's a little bit more pure with the 18 in ESPN. So if it's a network thing, that's what could go against the Clippers, I would say, predominantly. 61st win of the season, 18th home loss. That's probably the best riddle for the Warriors tonight. But again, I'm just looking at that potential matchup on the 118th day of the year, the number that brings both cities together, especially now knowing that John Havlicek played his last game against the Buffalo Braves, who were the Los Angeles Clippers. And just for kicks, I got to see what Buffalo Braves equals. 49, like Staples Center. It's funny that 77's here. Remember, this is the next riddle I was going to get to with Steve Kerr, 77. So, I am still going to be surprised if the Warriors lose. I'll be real surprised if the Warriors lose the series. So, in case you missed what I said earlier, let me get this up here. Caller?
Sorry, Zach, one more thought. It's a 1 seed versus an 8 seed. Some possible upset setup, 18.
Sure. That's it.
So,
yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, thanks.
Yep.
Upset has that gematria of right here. 18-81. Okay. But here's the point. If the Warriors lose tonight, they get their 154th playoff loss. Los Angeles, California is 154. That's something we covered. Caller?
Yeah, hi, Zach. Somebody made a real good point in the chat that Clippers are like the last team with the 118, and Sunday is the 118th day of the year.
Right.
And, you know, that could bode well for that.
Well, dude, I just got to be honest. I've said that probably about 1,000 times now in this live stream here.
Okay. I was just looking up the chat. And then last sorry about that. And the last thing was you were looking at the wrong date on the Islander game, so you might want to fix it because it does start at 7 tonight.
Oh, it doesn't start so early like it had posted?
Yeah, you were looking at Sunday's game.
Oh, no wonder, man. I was like, why is that game starting so early?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. I was like, why in the world would they do that? Okay. All right, I'll fix that. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. Let me fix that real quick. That makes more sense. Sunday early start. Okay. All right. All right, that's fixed. Thanks for that. Caller?
Yo, Zach, with Nipsey Hussle Clippers, I think I figured it out. All right, when Nipsey Hussle died, the Clippers, they uploaded on the ESPN Instagram a Nipsey Hussle jersey with the number 5 on it, but it was the Clippers jersey. It's Montrezl Harrell.
Okay.
But it had number 5 on it. When you read out 5, it's 42, just like Game 6. But what's funny about it is Game 6 equals 111. And from today to Nipsey's birthday, which he's born on the 227th day of the year, and 49 is important. I think Mike D'Antonio go 49 and 49 in playoffs versus Golden State, but that's in the future. But he's born on the 227th day of the year. From today to that game is 111 days, and from today to when he died is 26 days.
His birthday is August 15th, right?
Yep.
And remember, 227 is the 49th prime too. So
yeah, but they uploaded the picture with the jersey, and it was a custom jersey, so they made it. It was probably pre-made. Okay. And it says Hustle. I actually have the picture. I'm gonna just send it over to you right now.
I'm gonna see if I can just pull it up here on the screen so everybody can see it. Nipsey Hussle Clippers jersey. Here we go.
Yep.
So this story from the day of his death. Yeah, Hustle 5. Yeah.
He was a Lakers fan. I don't even know why they did it. I was thinking about it, like, why did they do it with the Clippers? And this is why. Because he was a Lakers fan. You can Google him in the Lakers. He's sitting courtside at every game. He never liked the Clippers.
Sure.
And they uploaded the picture, and the number is 5. When you write out 5, it's 42. Just like Game 6, and it's 111 days from his birthday, just like Game 6. I think it's over tonight.
Well, you're right that Game 6. Hold on, you are right that Game 6 is 42 when you use the rule for S, but it is also 33, like his age of death.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but I see what you're saying with the 5 and the 42, though. I do see what you're saying there.
Yeah, that 42. That's what happened with the Sharks and the Golden Knights. Game 6, 4-2.
And Russell's got the 33 connection as well.
So. Yeah, but he died 100. Yeah, that's just so hard. I wouldn't even bet this.
That's why I'm saying I think tonight's game might be a stay away. But I'm going to talk about why, if it goes Game 7, I still think the Warriors are going to get it done. So.
Yeah, but I mean, tonight I'll probably just throw a quarter unit on it. If you throw a quarter unit, you'll win like a unit because it's like +4 or something. So I mean, it'll be worth it. If you lose a quarter unit, you win a unit. So.
All right. Well, you can do what you want. Personally, if I was betting it, I might bet the Clippers to cover tonight, because if they do go down, they're probably going to what we need to do, I still haven't done it yet, is we need to measure from the Clippers star player to the game, because there could be a huge clue there. So
yeah, you might as well just do the coaches, do the full spectrum for these playoff games.
well, we did all the coaches and everything. There's something real interesting with Steve Kerr if this goes to Game 7. I don't know if you saw that earlier, but I'm going to put it back up here. So, all right, appreciate it. Hustle's got the 42 connection as well. So, and remember, he was connected to Texas Tech, and he was born in 85, like basketball's 85. So his shirt says Money Makers Nip, I think. I don't know if there's something there. I can't read it clearly to be sure, but that's what I think it says. Okay, so look, again, if the Warriors do lose tonight, 154th loss. Los Angeles, California is 154. So is King James, and where's he at now? But so that's another potential clue there. They'd stay at 179 wins. Remember, 179 is the 41st prime. LA's 41. Oakland's 41. Golden State's 41. If they win, they get that 180, which looks like 18, which is the ESPN thing. And the Clippers, their stuff's not as interesting. Their next win is their 47th. Okay, that's important because Nipsey's death had a lot to do with 47. It's the Warriors' 47th season in Oakland. They beat their opponent by 47 points the day Nipsey died. So I'm thinking if the Clippers win one more, that's probably it. I don't see them getting 48 against the Warriors in this season. But here, the biggest clue about Game 7 out of everything that we looked at with the coaches and just everything, I still need to measure the Clippers star player, but Steve Kerr. Coaching stats. Let's see here. So, remember the last game fell on a date with 67 and 22 numerology. He could have got his 67th win or his 22nd loss. He did get the 22nd loss, Oakland 22. And also remember, the Warriors took that lead at the end of that game on a Durant dunk, and that gave the lead 118-117. So, and then when the Warriors lost, I was like, there's that 118 that connects both cities. Does that mean it's coming back here for Game 7 on the 118th day? But you see how Kerr's at 322 regular season wins and 66 playoff wins? That's 388, which means the next win's 389, and that's the 77th prime. The 77th prime. And now look at this. NBA teams. Why can I not see gold? There they are. Golden State Warriors, series records. Los Angeles Clippers. You see how it's 6-6 right now? If the Warriors end it tonight, it would be, from the Clippers' perspective, they would be 6-7, kind of like 67, the 19th prime, West 67. So that could make some sense. But if it goes to Game 7 and the Warriors winning Game 7, they'd be 7-7. And Kerr would get that 389th win all time, the 77th prime. And there's a thing about 77. If you write out 77, it equals 49, like Warriors, like Kevin Durant, who's from Washington, D.C. on the 77th meridian. So I think that's where it's at. Now let me check out this Clippers star player. What's his name? Mo Williams? What's his name? Lou Williams. Lou Williams. That's what it is. Interesting that he's born on this is the day Philadelphia was established. The day leaving 65 days. Philadelphia 65. Warriors from Philly. Okay, so where's he from? He's from Memphis, Tennessee. Okay. October 27th, 2018. Today, 181 days. Now, that's the 42nd prime number. Isn't that interesting? If the series ends 4-2, 181, the 42nd prime. That means the next game would be 183 days from his birthday. Just make sure there's not some 183 connection. Today is either Doc Rivers' 171st day of his age, or maybe it's a span of 171 days to Doc Rivers' birthday. That's what it is. So we saw that for Doc Rivers too, that he had this 171 thing going today. Clippers, Los Angeles, let's see, Golden State, Warriors. If the Warriors win today, they stay at 153 losses in this series. That's another thing. Caller?
Sorry, Zach Rob again. If
Yeah.
you want a good laugh, punch in Donald Sterling and look at his birthday.
That's the guy who runs the Clippers, right?
That's the one that did the big shaming ritual with all the racism shit on a day that's 42 today.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That was like 4 years ago now.
Yeah, check out his birthday.
It's his birthday today, huh? And he's 85. Basketball number. Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's a great observation too.
So I don't know what day that whole shaming ritual started. I was about to take a look at that, but between that and when the new guy bought the Clippers, maybe might be some more indicators.
So Sterling doesn't own it anymore. It's somebody else?
Yeah, it's the guy from Apple, I think. One of the Apple guys.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was after the whole shaming ritual. All right, yeah.
Yeah, and that dude's been, like, hype on the Clippers. Like, he's all like, what's the dude from Dallas? Mark Cuban.
Uh-huh.
He's got that kind of, like, energy for his team.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
Maybe something to take a look at.
All right, yeah. Great thought. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
All right. Oh, so it was one day before his birthday in 2014. That was actually 5 years ago now. One day before his birthday that the tapes came out with the racist stuff. And then Blake Griffin and Chris Paul got injured on that day in history, back when they were both Clippers. Seeing if I have any other posts on this. Caller?
Yeah, with that 85 and Nipsey Hussle and the Clippers guy's birthday, you know, Doc Rivers can get his 85th playoff win today.
Is that right?
Yeah, and what was funny about it, because if he gets it today, it'll be 85, and if he loses it, he'll have 83, and it'll be like 85, 83, and with the Nipsey, you know, like the murder. I mean, it's funny. I'm laying the quarter unit today, though.
I do see that 85th win right there. Next loss, 83. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, good observation. Okay. So he could get his 85th win on Sterling's 85th birthday. With the Clippers. So that was the other thing we talked about with Doc Rivers too. You see how he's at 25 losses? He could get his 26th loss today on the 26th, but the game on Sunday has 26 date numerology. You guys can do whatever you want. I would rather just chill on this game and not do anything. But personally, if I was going to bet, I'd bet the Clippers to cover. Because I think they got more riddles to win today than the Warriors. That said, I was wrong about Game 5. I thought the series would end in Game 5. So you do what you want. You got your own brain. But this game, it's got some reads that go both ways. But man, does that Game 7 ever make sense? Especially with the Warriors taking the lead at the end of the game with 118 points. Now, hold on. I want to find out what the caller was saying about the Rockets already practicing in Oakland. Rockets not waiting, heading for Oakland. So this came yesterday. Rockets to fly to Oakland before conclusions of Warriors and Clippers series. All right. Let me see if it says what day this series would start. The Houston Rockets are certain they'll be playing the Warriors in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. So certain that they aren't waiting around to learn the outcome of Friday night's Game 6 of the Warriors-Clippers series. This was Thursday's tweet from Jonathan Figgin. So it does say, wishing to get ready for a possible Sunday Game 1. So it would be the 118th day of the year. Okay, maybe we can figure this out then through this. Maybe we can figure this out by looking at the Warriors and Rockets record. Again, Sunday. Sunday's going to have numerology like this. Oops. The side of the slash mark. So Sunday's going to be 71, 44. Rockets is 44. So is Harden or James Harden, one of the two. 26, 51. So the date numerology is going to be like that Sunday. All right. Let's see here. NBA teams, series rock. Okay. So the Rockets are at 153 losses. Golden State Warriors is 153. Caller?
Hello, Zach. Yeah, Steve Kerr's birthday is also 213 from Game 7, the LA area code.
That's a good observation. There you go. There you go.
That's all.
All right, appreciate it. If the Warriors beat the Rockets 4-2 in the next round, assuming they get there, I could see that happening because that would keep the Rockets at 153 wins. Golden State Warriors is 153. And hold on, let me put up those ciphers again. I don't know why I keep closing this. Okay. Houston Rockets 59, the 17th prime. Golden State Warriors at 153 losses right now, the 17th triangular. Rockets. Oh, and Houston Rockets has that 77 thing too. So Kerr's next win will be the 77th prime all time. His next win would be his 68th playoff win. Houston Rockets 68. Rockets. Again, if the Warriors get one more loss, they'll be at 28 losses on the season going into the Rockets series, assuming they win. Rockets 28. That Sunday has 44 date numerology. Let me see something real quick. Series records. If the Rockets or if the Warriors lost two more to the Clippers, they would have 95 losses. Warriors 95. That doesn't have to happen, but that is just one thing to note. That would mean the Clippers also had 95 wins against the Warriors. But what is it for the Rockets here? All right. The next win against the Rockets is 106, right? And Oakland, California is 106, and Oracle Arena is exactly 106 feet tall. Not by accident. So Sunday's date numerology doesn't go with that. It doesn't line up there with the date numerology. Okay. Or whoops, wrong thing. 12 and 5. Oakland equals 126. I'd have a feeling that the Rockets might win game 1 if it happened. Oakland's 126. We just talked about that in baseball with the the Athletics beating the Astros in that upset game. It's always a big number there with Oakland, 126. Some Jewish gematria. And let's think about one more thing here. So if the Warriors won tonight, they'd be 61-27. Oops. Oh. And at home, they would be. They've only won one game at home in this series. That's funny. So they're 31-13 right now. Houston equals 31-32. James Harden, number 13. I kind of would like them staying at 31 wins at home to face Houston, because picking up that first one against Houston would make sense. Houston 32. So they'd have to win tonight for that to happen. And then the Rockets. The Rockets went 4-1 and they dropped one game in Houston, so they were 3-0 at home. So the Rockets are 57-30 on the season. Oakland does have the connection to 31-58. So if they split in Oakland the first two games, they'd be 58-31 for the year. That would make some sense. And they would become 23-20 in Oakland. But yeah, there's no huge clue for that Sunday though. Rockets does equal 28. Rockets does equal 28, and I guess the Warriors could pick up their 28th loss of the season against the Rockets in that first game. If they won tonight, they'd pick up their 28th loss on the 28th against the Rockets. So. It's going to be tight tonight. It's going to be tight. I'm not crazy about tonight's game. That's for sure. If I did have to bet it personally, I would take the Clippers to cover. There's reason to believe in that that game on the 118th day of the year. So, and that 77 riddle going 7-7 against the Clippers in the playoffs would kind of make sense too. So, that said, Stephen Kerr's next win will be the one that's the prime number was 77, and Houston Rockets have the 77 connection. So, could just make sense if they got it tonight too, just because that's who the next opponent is. But proceed with caution on tonight's game. That's all I can say. So let's scan the MLB real quick too. People asked if I could scan the MLB. Again, MLB riddles just aren't coming through. I do believe Nationals equals 57. I do believe that's true. Nationals is 57. They could drop to 5-7 tonight at home. They don't have a 66 connection. San Diego's 38 in the most pure cipher. They would be 8-3 away if they won the reflection. We got to read the numbers both ways. So something that kind of stands out. San Diego Padres 65. The Nationals are 6-5. These teams didn't play each other yesterday, did they? So this is the first game of the series, I believe. Yeah, first game of the series. Scherzer getting roughed up this year. He's getting old. San Diego's also 74 though, so that can go either way. San Diego 74, DC, the land of 47. So that's probably just too close to call. Man, the Phillies. I wanted to see them do that thing yesterday so we could have a big World Series clue. It's Marlins 86. I think Marlins might be 86. Marlins is 86. If the Phillies lost today, they would be 8-6 against the Marlins. So Miami Marlins. Oops. Miami Marlins is also 59 though, and 85. They fell to 8-5 yesterday against them. Caller.
Hey Zach, I just had a question. How do you? I noticed that when you calculate the date numerology, you do 4 plus 26 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 9, and then you add a 1. How do you calculate that? Because I remember you used to do just single digits. You do single digits for one of them, then you do the.
Well, I think one of them's a typo up on the screen. I think one of them was a typo.
But you would do 4 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 9, right?
Right. That's how I would do it. Yeah.
That's how you would do it. Okay, just making sure because I want to make sure I'm getting it right every day.
There was a typo on the screen when you just said that, but I do the same thing every day. So I just do it digit for digit, and then the life lesson methods where you add the day plus the month whole, so 4 plus 26, and then you add the year in digits, and then the last method you just go day plus month plus year in 2 parts. So yeah, there was a typo on the screen. That's why that looked messed up. Yeah.
So there's no plus 1.
No, there's never a plus 1 that you add to the date. No, that was just a mistake.
For sure. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, honestly, you guys, normally I just do the date numerology in my head and then I type out real quick what it is. So I got to be careful with that so I'm not putting the wrong digits up there. But the date numerology that I give you is always right, but sometimes when I'm writing it out, I might just be going too fast. So my fault. Okay, but Miami Marlins is 85. Now, I remember the last time we saw this pattern, we're like, oh, well, now could the team become 8-6 against them? We saw this in another series, and then it didn't. So Miami Marlins is also 59, and we got to read these numbers backwards. I guess backwards, the Phillies could be 9-5, so I'd lay off that one too. The baseball's just been too goofy. So I'm just scanning just to see if there's anything that looks great. Blue Jays is 49, and that's a big number in the Bay Area. This game isn't in the Bay Area, but they are playing a Bay Area team. That just makes me wonder. There's a lot of 49 that connects with the Bay Area, from the 49ers to the Warriors, just to other riddles we document. So they could become 4-9, and again, I'm not betting on anything in baseball. I'm just observing, just seeing if things are starting to make more sense. The Mets can do the 45 Major League riddle or the 54 baseball riddle, so that's uncomfortable. The Brewers, notice they're starting the series against the Mets 5-7, just like how at the beginning of the Phillies-Mets series, I said I expect the Phillies to be 5-7 away by the conclusion. Because Mets is 57, New York Mets 57. It's just always a big number with their franchise. So many 57 riddles. Yoenis Cespedes, that guy was like 57, 57, 57, everything he did with the Mets. But yeah, I think Brewers is 45. I know that. They're not also 54. But yeah, just the way the numbers go forwards and backwards, it just makes it too dicey. Okay. Rays, Red Sox. So Boston did the 5-5 thing. Boston, Massachusetts, 55. Apparently they don't know who's starting for Boston today. If Tampa Bay dropped 2, they'd be 7-4 away. We know that number is big with them. Tampa Bay Rays 74. They used to be the Devil Rays 74. Tampa Bay's 47. The Reflection. So that would also make the Red Sox 7-5. World Series is 57-75. We just saw them win 11-4 on the 114th day of the year as the defending World Series champions. And, you know, if the Red Sox could win 3 in a row, we'd finally see their 85 tribute this year, because Red Sox is 85 and Boston's 85. So this might be a series to keep an eye on. I could definitely see Boston winning the first 2 games here, because that is making sense. And I don't see how it could go the other way. I don't see the riddle the reverse way around. Okay, Rockies and Braves. Is there something about the Braves in '96? That was the Arizona. Never mind. That was the Diamondback series. We had the Braves coming in 9-6, which they did. So yeah, I don't see anything screaming out there. '67. They're 7-6 right now. Atlanta's 69. Atlanta's 69. Okay, so that's actually interesting. If the Rockies drop 2, notice they would get to 6-9, and the Braves would be 9-6, like 6-9 in reverse, and Atlanta's 69. So that's another riddle that could actually make a lot of sense right there. So the Braves win in 2. If the Braves win tonight, I bet you that comes through. And if Tampa Bay loses tonight, which I imagine they will, I think that 7-4 is going to hit. And I think the Red Sox have a real good shot here to become 8-5. So those are things to keep an eye on. If we're real selective with baseball, we can probably still find some good games. Like the Mariners game last night was a good game, and they killed them. Because we know that Seattle in 19, we know that riddle's definitely in effect. We had them pegged before the season started. Cleveland Indians is 67. Notice they're 7-6 because you got to read it both ways. And we talked about how Astros equals 92. So, wow, this line's really evened out. I think a lot of people are betting on the Indians here. But Astros, 92. They can get to 9-2 tonight. I guess with the exceptions, it's 38, which is the reflection of 83. But that 92 is a lot more pure. Cleveland Indians. I typed that right. Indians. Here. 4-game series, so 3 more. Guess the only thing it's hard to imagine the Astros sweeping the Indians. They would be 8-5 at home if that happened. So I could see the Astros maybe being 9-4 at home though, just because 94 connects to 147. Houston Astros 147. The overlap number with this game, Tigers and White Sox, is 37. Detroit's 37. Chicago's 37. Chicago is 46 as well. That's what could go sideways there. Guaranteed rate field 86. If the Tigers lost, they'd be 6-8, like 8-6. And that would make Chicago 4-6. Michigan's 46 as well. Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers. Red Sox. Chicago 37. Overlap numbers have probably been more consistent than anything in baseball. The opening start of the season, it was great. You know, it was able to just, we're like, okay, that's where the number's at. And it started off well, but then, man, we got into that bad stretch. So you do have a riddle both ways, so it's a little bit dangerous. But if I had to pick, so just things to watch, just to see if we can get those consistent patterns. 37 there, and I don't even know if it's worth looking at the pictures because just when it hasn't been working out, that hasn't seemed to matter either. His name is 64, like the reflection of 46. Daniel Norris. His name's 66. That can't happen. His name's also 78. No, that can't happen either. 42. Okay. So I'm going to keep my eye on that overlap number, though. The Orioles and the Twins. Caller?
Yeah. Hey, Zach. How you doing, man?
Doing all right.
So I'm just giving you a random call. I'm not even watching any video right now or anything, but so I did some Gematria last night on the death of John Havlicek last night.
Okay.
And I don't know if you heard about that or not, that story or not, but
I did. I put out a video on it.
Player, played for the Celtics, died last night at age 79, and I thought it was interesting because so in the NFL draft last night, the coach for Clemson, because there were 3 defensive tackles drafted in the first round last night for Clemson, and they were interviewing him, and they asked him, they said, "What do you think about this?" And he said, "Man, I love my numbers." He said because the first defensive tackle was pick number 4, the second was pick number 13, and the third one was pick number 17. Well, that's interesting because 4 plus 13 equals 17.
Right.
And what's interesting about that is John Havlicek wore number 17.
Right. And he died 17 days after his birthday, and NBA equals 17, and the Celtics won 17 championships.
Yep, exactly. And he died at age 79, and, 7 plus 9 equals 16. What's interesting about that
No, you went the wrong way with that. 79 is the 22nd prime. Boston equals 22. Basketball 22. His nickname Hondo equals 79.
Yes. And 1 plus 6 equals 7. That's the number 7 overall.
Okay.
So, I thought that was interesting. Also, they said he won 8 championships. He was 8-0 in finals. And what's interesting about that, in one of the ciphers, when you type in his full name, it sums to 80. So that was interesting as well. What else? There was a lot of numbers with his name here.
So notice he's from Ohio, and in the NHL playoffs, you have Boston and Ohio playing right now. But yeah, hey man, we're doing a live stream, and we've talked about it to death already, so I got to finish up for the people who are here. But keep up the good work. Appreciate it, man.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Thanks.
All right, take care. I was going to let him go just in case he had something interesting, but well, the NFL draft thing's kind of interesting, but I don't know if that's really what's going on there. So Ohio is the birthplace of football. Okay, so the Twins and the Orioles. Let me see what the schedule is. Minneapolis is 55. And I see that the Twins could become 5-5. So 1, 2, 3, 3-game series. So that 5-5, that potential 5-5 is definitely standing out. Baltimore, 76. They're 7-6 away. Baltimore is. Baltimore Orioles are playing well on the road. Orioles. Twins. 85, that can't happen. Minnesota Twins. 84. Okay, I don't see it. The one number that stares out at me is just the 55 because Minneapolis is 55. So I thought I would see something else there, but I don't know if they're ready for a big losing streak against the Orioles. Did I see one other thing actually with Baltimore? No. Orioles is 96. I guess if Baltimore won 2 in a row, they could get to 9-6. So that's something to keep an eye on. That's something to keep an eye on there. Baltimore wins today, they'd be 1 game away from 9-6. The Royals and the Angels. Now I know Angels is 58. If the Royals drop it tonight, they're 5-8 at home against the Angels. And Angel, the singular, is 39, like how Mike Trout signed through the age of 39. So that's something that stands out. Angel with the alphabetic order 39, the S 58. And Los Angeles Angels is also 85, the reflection. So you could read that backwards, 8-5. The Royals moved to their stadium in 93. Their record would be 9-3 in reverse. Anaheim is 39, where they play. So, again, I don't advise betting on baseball. The reason we're doing this is just so we can all just look at these things and just say like, okay, well that's okay. That started to look good. The Riddles were back. I'm just, it's like putting it, it's like I'm doing the litmus test. I'm seeing if things are starting to line back up with like the majority of things expected. So, I don't think, no, Cincinnati does not equal 48. Cardinals are St. Louis equals 115, right? I'd be interested to see if they could start their season 11-5. This Reds team's heating up. They've been playing better baseball. Could the Cardinals become 11-5 at home? St. Louis 115, the year of the 115th World Series. And speaking of the game being in St. Louis, maybe the Reds could drop. Maybe the Reds could lose tonight and become 10-15, like 1-5 in St. Louis, and then maybe they could bounce back and win 2. So maybe the Cardinals become 11-3 tonight and lose to 11-5. So Cardinals, St. Louis, Cardinals, Cincinnati. But I could see that 10-15 record there in St. Louis. How's Mikolas? His name's 96, like Cincinnati. Oops. What in the world? Oh my God. His name's 48. If the Reds won tonight, they'd be 4-8. So that's a conflict, though. That's a conflict. If they won tonight, they'd be 4-8 against this guy. But I'd watch to see if the Cardinals could get to 11-5. So, like, if you watch these first two games and the Cardinals are at 11-4, I'd be thinking that 11-5 is probably going to hit. St. Louis 115, year of the 115th World Series. Diamondbacks, if they lose tonight, they're 4-6 at home. That's interesting because Chicago's 46 and Chicago Cubs is 46. So the one thing that you do have to keep in mind is Chicago Cubs with the S is 55, but the 46 is the more pure. Phoenix, where they play, is also 46. Phoenix, the home of the Diamondbacks, 46. So I would say that I expect the Diamondbacks to fall to 4-6 tonight. And again, that I'm not betting on baseball. I'm watching and just seeing if riddles are starting to come back because they went away. Pirates have a 74 connection. I know that. Pirates got a 7. Well, I believe they do. Yeah, Pirates is 74. I know we've seen some of those. And Pittsburgh Pirates 105. If the Dodgers win one and lose one, they're 10-5 at home. Jackie Robinson Day is the 105th day of the year. Makes me think about that a little bit. But Pittsburgh Pirates 105. So Pirates win one tonight. Dodgers, I would expect them to win one tomorrow. Pittsburgh 67. Dodgers. Somebody's probably looking and saying, well, if the Dodgers won tonight, their record would be 17-11, which would sort of look like that, but I don't like to do that. So I think Los Angeles. Dodgers. Okay. Rangers and Mariners. Now, do the Rangers have a 77 connection? Rangers. No, they don't. Okay. I don't think there's any great clue. Kikuchi. Okay, and this is the guy whose father died right at the start of the season. Wait a minute. Kikuchi. Okay. Seattle 2 wins from now will be number 19, right? And of course, Seattle's 19, so 68. So this pitcher for Texas has this 68 connection, which is interesting because if Seattle lost tonight, they'd be 6-8. Schedule. Beat the Rangers last night. Spanked them. It's a 4-game series. Yeah, I don't know. Seattle Mariners. Blue here. Texas. Texas is 69. If they drop 2, they could fall to 6-9. Texas is also 48. So if the Rangers won 2 and Seattle dropped 2, their records would make sense. 4-8 away, 6-9 at home. That could be. Texas Rangers. I think I would wait and see on tonight's game. Rangers is 82 and 107 like Seattle. I think if the Rangers did win tonight, I think that riddle would probably be in effect. We saw that Shelby Miller was 68. But if Rangers lose tonight, very good chance they're going to win 2 in a row in Seattle. Maybe Seattle will come back and I could see the Mariners starting 7-9 at home because the opening game had a lot to do with 79. Their first game of the season, March 20th. That was on the 79th day of the year. That Kikuchi, his name equals 79. And his dad's death had a lot to do with 79. Pretty sure his dad died 79 days from his birthday. Okay. Now, Yankees equals 65, right? New York Yankees is 65. But the problem is you can read it either way, right? Because we know that they're doing this backwards and forwards thing. If the Yankees won tonight, they would be 6-5, and the Giants would be 5-6. So I guess that's the way it could work for both teams. If the New York Yankees win, they're 6 and. Oh no, I'm reading that. Excuse me, you guys. I'm getting dyslexic. If the Yankees lost tonight, they'd be 6-5, and the Giants would be 6-5 at home. Oops. New York Yankees 65. So that would make the most sense, that riddle, if the Giants won tonight. With the S exception, I guess Yankees is 74. But that 65 is more pure. I'm getting the signal to wrap it up. So yeah, I mean, baseball, I don't advise betting baseball right now, but I think we have some seemingly good riddles on the board that we can follow and see if things are getting back on track. So the Nationals Padres, you could make an argument either way because San Diego 74, Nationals 57. The same thing with the Phillies Marlins game. Miami Marlins was 59, but Marlins is 86. So that could go either way. Just quickly review everything. Blue Jays is 49. 49, that significant number to the Bay Area. So can the Blue Jays become 4-9 at home tonight against Oakland? The Brewers does equal 45 like Major League. If the Mets lost tonight at home, they would be 4-5, but they got DeGrom on the mound, who's pretty tough. So, and I haven't looked at pitcher stats just because they were just like not lining up for anything, but just real quick, I just want to see what DeGrom stats are tonight. Still got to monitor this stuff too to just see if the wins and losses are lining up with the date numerology. So DeGrom's 57 and 43. That doesn't go with our date. But New York Mets 57, their magic number. Interesting, he's at that right now. And the Brewers are coming in 5-7 away. So yeah, that one's tough. Couldn't get much of a read there. Again, if Boston can sweep this series, that's something I'm going to watch to see if Boston sweeps this series because that's the magic number with them, 85. Boston's 85. Red Sox is 85. If the Rays drop 2 in a row, they're 7-4. And Tampa Bay Rays 74. So that makes sense to me. Rockies and Braves. Again, Atlanta's 69. Atlanta's 69. The alphabetic order. If Atlanta can win 2 in a row, we saw a big 96 riddle with them earlier. They'd be 9-6. The reflection in the Rockies would be 6-9. So I'm kind of digging the Braves. We'll see if that follows. Astros is 92. So we did see that they had a 38 connection as well in the exception cipher, but at 92 is the more pure number. So I'll be anticipating them to become a 9-2. Oh, you know what else? You know what else? Houston 77. Houston 77. So that actually makes a lot of sense. If the Astros win tonight, they're 9-2, and the opponent's 7-7. So Houston Astros would be the tribute in the away and home records. So I'm digging the Astros there. The overlap number with this is 37. Again, Chicago and Detroit's 37, but Chicago's also 46, so it makes it iffy. But those overlap numbers, they come through a lot. Caller? Caller?
Zachary, are you available?
I'm doing a live stream right now.
Oh, shit, I always catch you like that. Sorry, man.
All right.
Sorry about that.
All right. No problem. See it.
I'm on your attention.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. Okay. Twins and Orioles. We saw here that was it that Orioles is 96? Orioles is 96. If they could win 2 on the road, because Baltimore is also 76 where they are right now. If the Twins drop tonight, they're 5-5 in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is 55. Maybe the Orioles can win 2. So things we're watching. Angel is 58. If the Royals could fall to 5-8. Angel, the singular, 3-9. Again, St. Louis 115. If they drop tonight, they're 10-15, kind of like 115. If the Cardinals win 1 and lose 2 in their next 3 games, they're 11-5 at home. We saw that this guy's name equaled 48, though, and they could become 4-8 away. The Reds could. Chicago and Chicago Cubs 46, but Chicago Cubs also 55, but Phoenix is 46. So expecting the Diamondbacks to drop it. And Pirates 74. If they could win tonight, they'd be 7-4. Pittsburgh Pirates 105. If the Dodgers split the next 2, they're 10-5 at home. Texas 48-69 if the Mariners drop 2. And New York Yankees 65. Both teams could be 6-5. So again, just that's the review for what we're looking at in baseball. I mean, bet if you dare, but again, the reason we're doing this is just to see if we can build back up our confidence by seeing that patterns are starting to come back. Because once they do, we'll start taking stabs at baseball again. Baseball can be very good, but it got real rocky there for more than a week. So, again, the picks are up for the NHL. The better riddle tonight in the NHL to me is the Hurricanes to upset the Islanders. The Hurricanes can have a playoff record this year of 5-3. Carolina equals 53. Hurricanes equals 53. And Islander, they can also get their 24th away win of the season in tonight's game on this 24-day numerology. So you got some nice riddles. Let me see what the money says now. Before there was a big discrepancy. Let's see. Let's check it for basketball. Let's check it for everything real quick. Okay. Warriors got 2/3 of the money in basketball. And San Jose's got about 2/3 of the money. And where'd that just go? And the Islanders got over 80% of the money right now. Over 80%. So Hurricanes got the numbers. Hurricanes win or cover. Vegas got the money. And that's what we like to see. We like to see a riddle for a team and it going against the way people are betting. So Hurricanes seem to be the smartest choice tonight. They got the best riddle in numbers. Again, my strategy is always take an underdog to cover. In case they lose by a goal, then you still win the bet. Of course, taking them outright pays more, but do what you want. I got my own strategy. I always preach to be conservative when it comes to gambling. So, caller.
Hey Zach, that's Andrew here. How you doing, man?
Doing well.
Good, man. Good. Listen, I'm gonna take the Clippers tonight. What do you think of that, man? Do you think it's worth the risk, man? They're paying 4 times, man, on a straight, man.
Sir, so you're kind of broken up, but I heard you. You asked me, do you think it's worth to take the risk betting on the Clippers? Now, look, it's all up to you. It's because that we saw that the narrative's tight, but there really does seem to be more riddles on the board to believe that series is going to go to Game 7. So if I'm betting the Clippers tonight, I'm taking them to cover with those points. Are you still there? Well, shoot, I think his call dropped, but he's calling back. And as he was calling me back, his call dropped. Well, caller, if you can hear me through the chat, if you're watching the live stream, if you're betting the Clippers tonight, I would definitely take them to cover. I would not bet on them outright. And there is reason to believe in a Game 7. That's what we saw. But personally, I'd actually bet on some of these baseball games before I bet on the Clippers-Warriors game, to be perfectly honest. Caller?
Yeah, sorry, Zach. I got cut off, man.
That's okay.
So what were you saying?
I was saying that I'm not crazy about that game. There is reason to believe it's going to Game 7. If I did bet the Clippers, I would bet them to cover. So,
yeah.
But I was also saying, the other thing I was saying is, even though I'm really down on baseball tonight, I'd bet on some baseball games before I bet on that Clippers-Warriors game. So, you do what you want, but there's going to be plenty of more games where we get good, clear riddles, and they'll be safer picks. That's for sure.
All right. Anything out of the one yesterday out of the 115th day? Any clues about any possible World Series contenders or no?
Well, the Mariners came into the day 5-7. World Series is 57, and they won huge. And they won with 14 runs. Again, it's their 43rd season, the 14th prime. So the Mariners have been my team since before the year started. I didn't get the National League clue that I wanted. I really wanted to see the Phillies win yesterday. I would have pegged them for the National League, but I still got to keep searching in the National League. The Yankees-Angels game was 11-5. The Yankees got wasted, but that could still be a riddle for the World Series. And between those two teams, Angels and Yankees, what I said earlier is the Yankees are a team that if they get healthy later in the year, because that's the narrative right now, they're beat up, but they're still playing okay. If they get healthy near the end of the season, they could be the juggernaut. And the last time the Mariners had a really special year, the Yankees went to the World Series. So just thinking about those things.
Something to think about. Okay, Zach. Well, thanks a lot for your feedback, man.
All right, welcome. Yeah, take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And then in this Avalanche Sharks game, the riddle is not quite as clear. The Avalanche went 4-1 as an 8 seed and beat the top seed Calgary. We saw that there's a big riddle with Von Miller. Von Miller, the Denver Broncos player, yesterday he was in the news for getting off the hook legally for catching a shark. So think about that. Von Miller's name equals 51 in Gematria. If the Avalanche win today, they'd be 5-1, doing it over the Sharks. And the big thing for the Sharks today, is they could get their 116th playoff loss today on the 116th day of the year, just like how in the last game they got their 113th playoff win on the 113th day of the year. So using the same logic, I'm thinking the Avalanche have a good shot today. It's just there's not any numerology alignment really for the Avalanche win-loss record. And we looked down the road and things were kind of iffy. So if I'm betting on that game, I'm taking the Avalanche to cover as well. Taking the Avalanche to cover. Sharks 116th loss on the 116th day, absolutely in the cards. those types of riddles usually come through. Again, date numerology riddles usually come through, not always. So I think if you took the Hurricanes and the Avalanche to cover, worst case scenario, you would probably, you know, break even tonight, but very real chance that you win on both. Just like yesterday, we took both away teams to cover. They both came through. And the game that would surprise me more if the game that would surprise me the most is if the Hurricanes didn't cover. I'll say that. So, and again, in the NBA, we went over this every which way. We took a lot of calls. Houston's already practicing in Oakland for the next round. That could mean nothing. You know, that could be some big betting trap. There's a prayer for the Clippers to come back and win this series. I'll be surprised, but the big clue is now with the death of the Boston Celtic, who played his last game against the Buffalo Braves, who are the Los Angeles Clippers now. John Havlicek equals 118, Clippers 118, Celtics 118. If the Clippers get past the Warriors, that's going to be our NBA championship. I have no doubt about it. We've had Warriors Celtics all year. If the Clippers get past the Warriors, I'm seeing Clippers Celtics all the way, another Boston LA tribute. I'll be surprised again if the Warriors lose the series. We saw how if it goes to Game 7, a lot lines up for the Warriors to win it, a lot more than the Clippers. But the Clippers winning tonight, very real possibility. Again, the Game 7 would be on the 118th day of the year. That's a big number in the Bay Area. Clippers equals 118, Los Angeles, California 118. In Game 5, the Warriors took the lead at the very end, 118 to 117, and then the refs just went into full Clipper mode and pretty much put the game out of contention. So I'm just not crazy about tonight's game. I'd honestly, to be perfectly clear, you know how crazy I am not about baseball right now. Before I bet on this game, I would bet on the Astros to win tonight over Cleveland. I'd bet on this over this, you know, and we've been doing well in the playoffs. Baseball murdered us for a week. But I'd be more willing to bet on this over that Golden State game because Astros equals 92 and Houston equals 77. I mean, if it doesn't happen tonight, I'll be like, well, that's just what baseball's been doing to us. But I'm just putting it that way for the perspective. That's why I'm saying that. That's how much I don't like the Warriors Clippers game tonight. But if I had to bet Clippers, again, I'm going to take them to cover. That would be my bet. I would take the Clippers to cover, and if they lost by 30, I'd say, well, that's why I didn't like this game. So, remember, Doc Rivers also could get his 85th playoff win today, and we noticed that it's Donald Sterling's 85th birthday today, the guy who used to run the Clippers. Basketball 85. Nipsey Hussle, born in 85, part of the college basketball riddle with Texas Tech going to the championship and losing. All right, let's wrap it up there. It was another nice long decode, 3+ hours. Things to watch tonight in baseball. Hey, if you want to bet, it's you're your own man, you're your own woman. But again, baseball to me is a wait and see right now. Let's just keep waiting and seeing if these riddles that we look at get back in the groove. But if one game was going to surprise me tonight, above all, I would have to say it's this 77-92 riddle. That would be the one that surprised me. Houston 77, Astros 92. And the line's not bad on that game. So, all right, we'll look at all this tomorrow. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to upload the review video. Look for that very soon. And I'm just going to talk about everything that I just talked about, just because people appreciate that review video rather than rewinding to the end of this video. All right, good luck, everybody. And let's have another good day here. Until next time.